Testing 1 2, testing 1 2, testing 1 2, testing 1 2. Live from Bob Wren Stadium, we have a matchup today between the Southern Ohio Copperheads and the Licking County Settlers. This is matchup number 7 between these two teams, and the Copperheads are looking to try to get win number 1 against a team that has had their number. Good evening and welcome to the broadcast booth. My name is Sedric Granger, and we're missing Tim today as he is off at drill as he is a member of the National Guard. So it'll be just me today as the Copperheads and Settlers will match up. It'll be Cody Williams on the mound for potentially the last time as a Copperhead as he will be leaving coming after this game. But here we go. We'll get started here. I'll be doing the producing as well, so I'll be running the cameras and everything like that as well. So trying to get a little bit of everything today. Have to be a jack of all trades in this business. So we'll transition it here to the game, and we'll get it started here as batting first will be Turner Hill of the Licking County Settlers as Cody Williams delivers the first pitch up high for ball number 1. As we're getting started here at Bob Wren Stadium on Brew Weekend here in Athens. See the 1-0 pitch. That time it is on the money for strike number 1. So it's 1-1 to Turner Hill. Cody Williams has a 4.74 ERA, and we last saw him against the Settlers as a closer where he struck out 3 batters in a row as the 1-1 to Hill is fouled off for strike number 2. Cody Williams from Roxmart, Georgia, Snead State Community College is making his 7th appearance of the season. Last full start was against the Xenia Scouts where he went the full game. 1-2 outside to Silva, and now the count is evened up at 2-2. For the Settlers today, it'll be Turner Hill, Austin Davison, Ben Kaplan, Logan Swanger, Caleb Johnson, Cade Nellis, Logan White, Nick Lukac, and Adam Crawford will be the lineup today for the Licking County Settlers, looking to stay atop the GLSEL. 2-2 outside and high for ball number 3. For the Copperheads, defensive alignment, it's Silva behind the dish at catcher. And then your infield is made up of Steidel, Shepard, Stallings, and Nadani. Nadani getting to play at third after coming off the injury a few games ago. The 3-2 is going to be up high for a walk. So Turner Hill gets to first base on the walk. And then rounding out the lineup, it'll be Bam Thomas playing left field, Clayton Hodges center field, and Trey Rucker right field for the Southern Ohio Copperheads, trying to get win number 1 against the Licking County Settlers. The Settlers have had their number this season, and they've gotten better in each matchup. The first couple of games were very ugly, including an 11-1 run rule in game number 3, as well as the almost comeback that happened as well here at Bob Wren Stadium in game 2 on June 17th. But the next batter up is Austin Davison, who takes the first pitch for a strike. Austin Davison is batting 117 on the year. He's driven in a trio of RBIs and works with 1 runner on in this scoreless game here from Bob Wren Stadium in the top of the first inning. Williams set. The runner will go. Turner Hill trying to make it in time. There's the throw, and he is safe. Getting underneath the glove of Carson Shepard and making it just in time is Turner Hill for stolen base number 1 for the Licking County Settlers. Austin Davidson did take the second pitch for a ball, so the count is 1-1 to Austin Davison. One runner on. Williams delivers. Swung on and missed for strike number 2. So it's 1-2 to Davison from Trinity University, Park City, Utah, coming out all the way east to play some baseball for the Licking County Settlers, looking to stake their claim for home field advantage in the playoffs. 1-2 as Hill will go again. There's the throw, and it is not in time. Turner Hill back-to-back stolen bases, and just like that, they have a runner in scoring position, as we'll see if we see a meeting of any sort. But that was strike number 3 on the bright side as Austin Davison goes down on strikes for out number 1. But Turner Hill, the leadoff hitter, has already gotten around to third base. And now Ben Kaplan will have the chance to drive in an RBI. And he's been very good this season, batting .400 and driven in 5 RBIs for the man out of Marietta College. He's playing DH today and takes the first pitch over the plate outside for strike number 1. As I said before, this is game number 7 between these two teams. Settlers have taken all 6 so far as the 0-1 outside for ball number 1. Settlers won the first matchup 11-1 on the June 9th. Then on June 17th, the Settlers came to Bob Wren Stadium and won 11-9, saving off a 5-run rally by the Copperheads, and the tying run was on bases in that game. July 3rd, the Settlers played the Copperheads and won 13-6 at Bob Wren. As we see a drive right out to Josh Steidel at first base, who makes the catch, showing some great awareness there for out number 2. So 2 down in the inning with 1 runner on. Turner Hill is that man at third base. Ben Kaplan went down on the fly out to first base. And now we'll see Logan Swanger, who is batting next here for the Licking County Settlers. He is the reigning GLSCL Player of the Week. He's a two-way guy, kind of like Shohei Ohtani of the Angels, batting .389 on the year, 16 RBIs, and then boasts a 0 ERA. So doing a little bit of everything for the Settlers, but swings and misses there for strike number 1. Cody Williams with 1 walk, 1 strikeout early on today. The Copperheads look for win number 1 against the Licking County Settlers. The 0-1. Ooh, just misses the strike zone outside for ball number 1. So 1-1 to number 2, Logan Swanger out of Tiffin University, Newark, Ohio. He's done very well as of late, batting .357 over the last 7 days. The 1-1 is outside as Silva reaches to his left to make the catch for ball number 2. So it's 2-1 with 1 runner on, Turner Hill, in this scoreless affair in the top of the first inning here at Bob Wren Stadium. Is working with a makeshift score bug today as all the graphics are stored on Tim's computer as we see a hit right out to Nadolny at third base, who fields it, delivers it out to Josh Steidel for out number 3. It's in time as the Copperheads yield nothing in the top of the first inning. So when we come back, it'll be Carson Shepard, Clayton Hodges, and Kyle Ratliff due up for the Copperheads as they look for a lead here at home. You're listening to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube. It's the bottom of the first inning here at Bob Wren Stadium as we have no score. And the bottom of the first inning is presented to you by Ohio Health. So starting off the inning here, we'll have pitcher Michael Lazecki go out there on the mound. His ERA is 8.18, struck out 25, walked 10 for the man out of Ohio Dominican. It's not the first time the Copperheads have seen him, as he did get the win on that June 3rd game between the Copperheads and the Settlers, where Settlers were victorious 13-6, but the Copperheads did have a lead at one point in that game. That's one thing that has really stood out about this series. Out of the 48 innings these two teams have played, the Copperheads have only led for 2. So leading off for the Copperheads is Carson Shepard. Carson Shepard is batting .234 on the year, driven in 8 RBIs, and takes the first pitch outside for a ball. So it's 1-0 to number 1, Carson Shepard, for a Copperheads batting unit that had a really great day yesterday. They won 12-1 over the Cincinnati Steam as the 1-0 pitch is over the plate for strike number 1. So 1-1 to Carson Shepard, as again the Copperheads, they did a good job of keeping to stack those at-bats, as we'll see the 1-1. There's going to be a drive right in between second and third base. It's a base hit for the Copperheads. Carson Shepard getting it started with a single to left field. So Carson Shepard gets on, as he had no hits yesterday, but found multiple ways to get on base. Reached on an error, reached on a hit by pitch as well yesterday. So Carson Shepard just finds ways to get on base no matter what. Speaking of guys getting on base, Clayton Hodges was proficient at it yesterday, going 3 for 3 with 2 runs, 3 RBIs, 1 walk, 2 stolen bases against the Cincinnati Steam. His batting average is up to .265 on the year. He's driven in 10 RBIs, and maybe we'll try to make it 11 as he takes the first pitch outside for ball number 1. So 1-0 to Clayton Hodges, as Copperheads in this series, they've averaged 3 1/3 run against the Settlers this year, as the Settlers have had their number as the 1-0 pitch is up high towards the face of Hodges. So it's 2-0. Copperheads have had some offensive success, including Game 2 and Game 3, where they put up 9 and 6 runs respectively, as we'll see a deep drive into right field. Will it go down for a base hit? No, the catch is made out there by Turner Hill. What an impressive rundown catch for Hill, probably a little bit off of your screen. Turner Hill in the outfield at right field for the Settlers. Adam Crawford at center field, Swanger at left. Davison is behind the dish, and Logan White, Nick Lucat, Caden Ellis, and Caleb Johnson make up the infield for the Licking County Settlers. And for the Copperheads, it'll be Kyle Ratliff coming on after the fly out from Clayton Hodges for out number 1. And we'll see if Kyle Ratliff can break the home run record. He's tied right now with Blaine Krim for the Southern Ohio Copperheads all-time regular season home run record. And now he'll drive one out in the left field, but goes off foul for strike number 1. Kyle Ratliff's day yesterday was a solid one, as he went 2 for 5 with a 2-run homer, which ignited the crowd out here at Bob Wren Stadium. Also had a stolen base against the Cincinnati Steam. Copperheads, they struggled against the Steam at the beginning of the year and then dominated the last 2 games. And the Copperheads will try to do this as Carson Shepard might have gotten caught in the middle. Is he going to get tagged? He is caught stealing. He went for second base, but Lazecki showed some great awareness on the base paths. And that's one thing that can happen when you have matchups where the Settlers and Copperheads have played each other so much. You start to get people's tendencies down. And TJ Lanning, he said yesterday that he's going to just, hey, tell the guys to go for broke on the base paths. Go and run, steal bases, make them get you out. The Settlers do it, as we'll see a little bit of a bat crack there as Ratliff hits it in between the gap between second and third base and runs it out for a single. So infield single there for Kyle Ratliff to replace Carson Shepard, who was the second one down in the inning here in the bottom of the first. This game is scoreless, and it'll bring on Trey Rucker, the right fielder.
Number 3, Trey Rucker.
Trey Rucker's batting .259 on the year, driven in 10 RBIs for this Copperhead squad, and he'll work with 1 runner on, 2 outs. The Copperheads have a pair of hits, but only 1 runner to show for it now, as the Lazecki's first pitch is right near the legs of Trey Rucker for ball number 1. Copperheads wearing their all-white home uniforms with green batting helmets. Settlers will be in their navy, so dark jerseys with gray pants. As the 1-0 is going to be a high pop fly out into almost no man's land. It looks like the right fielder, Turner Hill, is going to go up there to make the catch, and that will retire the side. So the Copperheads pick up 2 hits, but aren't able to get anywhere farther than first base. And when we come back, it'll be Logan Swanger, or actually it'll be Caleb Johnson, Caden Ellis, and Logan White for the Licking County Settlers. You listen to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube. Welcome to the top of the second inning here at Bob Wren Stadium, as you guys are getting a little bit of a look of some of the fan games that we get to do, as there's a few home games left this season. So if you haven't gotten to come out to a Copperheads game yet, I definitely recommend it, as we have tons of fun in-season promotions and everything like that, including very, very exciting races. But we're in the top of the second inning. Top of the second is presented to you by Jackie O's. If you haven't tried out the Homer's Hazy IPA, we definitely recommend it for all of our Copperheads fans over the age of 21. Enjoy that beverage. Copperheads and Settlers are scoreless, as in the last inning we saw Carson Shepard get a hit, as well as Kyle Ratliff, but they were both retired, whether it was Ratliff at first or Shepard trying to steal.
Now batting for the Settlers, number 9.
So going back to the Settlers now, it'll be Caleb Johnson, Cade Nellis, Logan White, the 5, 6, 7 batters who will try to get things going for the Settlers, who don't have any hits yet. They have one walk. They've been struck out once by Cody Williams, who's on the mound for the last time here as the Southern Ohio Copperhead, as he will be going back. As we'll see a deep drive from Johnson. Caleb Johnson, the first batter, skies it out to Clayton Hodges, who makes the catch for out number 1. So that'll bring on Cade Nellis out of Purdue University, Fort Wayne. He's batting .264 on the year, driven in 11 RBIs this season, and he's batting an impressive .417 over the last week, which is the highest on the Settlers squad. So he's been their hottest bat as of late, as the Settlers will need him, as they have on paper, an easy schedule, but there are no matchups that are easy in the GLSEL, as we see the first pitch to Nellis down low for a ball. The Settlers found out earlier in their last series that they played against the Ice Haulers. Ice Haulers, one of the coldest teams in the league, as the 1-0 is thrown over the plate for a strike, that anybody can beat you on any given night. The Settlers, they fell 11-1 to the Ice Haulers, who are just sitting at 15-17 on the season, as the 1-1 is going to be skied and fouled out towards the dugout of the Licking County Settlers. So the count is 1-2. In the top of the second inning, Copperheads with 2 hits, Settlers with no hits, but there's no score here today. The 1-2 is up high for ball number 2. Against the Copperheads this season, the Settlers are averaging 5.7, or actually make that 7.5 runs against the Copperheads, 5.7 runs against everybody else. The 2-2 up high for ball number 3. So it's a full count. Payoff pitch will be incoming here for Cody Williams, as we have a pretty nice crowd here as we're running low on home games. This is our last home game against a GLSCL South opponent. And we'll see the payoff pitch. Swung on and missed for a strikeout. Cody Williams picking up his second strikeout of the day, and that'll bring on Logan White.
Now batting for the Settlers, number 28, Logan White.
Logan White out of Capital University out there in Bexley, right where I went to high school at. Shout out St. Charles Preparatory School. Logan White is batting .194 on the year, driven in 10 RBIs this season, and will look to get something going here for the Settlers, as they have 2 outs in this inning. Copperheads trying to close the door here. Cody Williams sets up, delivers his first pitch, swung on and missed for strike number 1. Cody Williams came in once again in that 9-inning affair between the Copperheads and the Settlers at home, and was able to strike out 3 batters in a row, trying to make it 2 in a row as he throws one there for strike number 2. So it's 0-2 to Logan White. Cody Williams with a chance to pick up strikeout number 3 of the day, as the pitching staff has been especially potent here for the Copperheads as of late. And they'll try to do the same thing here against White, as there's a high pop fly that's going to go into the infield. Nadani looks like he's going to call it, makes the catch, and that's 3 up, 3 down to retire the side here for the Southern Ohio Copperheads. We are scoreless going into the bottom of the second inning. You're listening to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube.
All right.
It's the bottom of the second inning here at Bob Wren Stadium. As you can take a little look here at the crowd here at Bob Wren. We always have one of the best crowds here in the GLSCL, so always excited to see tons of people here supporting the Southern Ohio Copperheads. As this game is scoreless here in the bottom of the second inning, as the leadoff hitter of this inning will be Josh Steidel, followed by Mason Adoni and Bam Thomas, the 5, 6, and 7 batters for the Southern Ohio Copperheads. So Josh Steidel is up first, and he'll start it off with a hit. First pitch swinging, and it pays off as it's a single out into right field, right to Turner Hill. And the Copperheads get their third hit of the day. So already the Copperheads are doing a great job of seeing the ball, as it seems like they're starting to continue to build off of that momentum they built against the Cincinnati Steam. They put up 5 runs in the 5th, 6 runs in the 6th. And they'll try to break through here as Mason Adoni, the man with the highest batting average on the team, batting .322 and 6 RBIs, will take the first pitch, hit it right out to right field. It's going to be caught by Turner Hill, who makes the throw back into the infield for out number 1. So a pair of first pitch swinging. Steidel reaches first, and Adoni flies out to right field.
Number 14, Ashton Bam Thomas.
Now next up for the Copperheads is Ashton Bam Thomas, who's batting .196 on the year. And will look to get Steidel to second or third base, maybe drive him home as well. Still going against Lazecki, who's shown some vulnerability, not only today, but also as of late, as he's given up 4 runs against the Copperheads when he last started, which is definitely something the Copperheads can work with, as they've done a good job keeping the Settlers to 3 runs or under in 2 out of their last 3 matchups, as the 0-1 is going to be chopped over foul for strike number 2. So pair of foul balls makes it an 0-2 count for Bam Thomas. Lazecki also had a game against the Richmond Jazz where he gave up 8 as a starter. Settlers still won that game, though, 18-10 in a very high-scoring affair against the Jazz. The 0-2 taken up high and inside for ball number 1. So the count is 1-2 here in the bottom of the second inning, which is presented to you by Steak and Shake. Definitely love them on State Street, as the 1-2 is going to be hit right over to the second baseman, Caden Ellis, who slides and makes the throw on the fielder's choice to Caleb Johnson for out number 2. But Steidel advances to second as a result of the fielder's choice. And now Maverick Stallings will look to try to get Steidel into scoring position and get a base hit for himself. There's 2 down in the inning, so he'll have to watch out here. Maverick Stallings batting .169 on the year, has driven in 6 RBIs, coming off of a day where he drove in a pair of RBIs in a day where the whole order of the Copperheads either had a run or had an RBI. The first pitch, no swing from Stallings, but it is in the strike zone for strike number 1. So it's 0-1 in this scoreless game. Josh Steidel on second base for the Southern Ohio Copperheads. It is just me today, missing Tim Hanna, of course. The 0-1 up high for ball number 1. We'll have a couple of special guests as well. So we'll have Ethan Sargent, the 3rd member of our broadcast crew, will be back tomorrow to call the Copperheads and Ice Haulers game with me. And then over the weekend, you'll get Claire Geary. Wanted to be a Copperhead and happened to be around that age during COVID time. And she just recently graduated from Ohio University. So she'll get an opportunity as well to go broadcast the second game of the Ice Haulers weekend series. We'll play Sunday and Monday as Steidel thinks about going. Maverick Stallings chops it right out to Lukac at shortstop, who does not make a throw. And now Stallings gets an infield single, and Josh Steidel advances to third. So that's the 4th hit of the day for the Southern Ohio Copperheads. Can they finish it off? It'll be up to Sebastian Silva, the catcher. He's 9th in the lineup. He's batting .079 over this year. Driven in no RBIs, but has an opportunity to drive in RBI number 1 for the tough catcher, who's been banged up a few times this year. He's taken a fair share of hit-by pitches, including one yesterday against the Cincinnati Steam. But he's been very efficient on the base pass. Whenever he finds his way on, he seems to find his way home. He'll look to do that again here As with 2 runners on, Lazecki's first pitch is outside and low for ball number 1. So it's 1-0 with Steidel on third and Stallings on first. The 1-0 popped up into foul territory back towards the stands, and it is strike number 1. So it's 1-1. Copperheads and Settlers in game number 7 between each other. Copperheads have had some tough outs against the Settlers, also some games where they've been true nail-biters, including the one up there at Denison, where the Settlers won 2-1 on walk-off fashion. As we'll see another pitch that is fouled off for strike number 2, so it's 1-2 to Sebastian Silva with 2 outs, 2 runners on, and Steidel at third and Stallings at first. Copperheads trying to take the lead here for only the 3rd inning in this series. Silva will take a little break as the Copperheads, they sit at 7th place in the standings. Settlers are up top with 20-13 record, 8-2 in their last 10, including a couple of wins over the Copperheads in that span, 4 of them to be exact. The 1-2 fouled off right towards TJ Lanning, and we'll stay at 1-2, 2 runners on a day that started off a little bit more rainy and dreary. Then it brightened up a little bit, and now it's starting to get back to more of a cloudy day as the lights shine bright here at Bob Wren Stadium. The 1-2 fouled off again. Seen a trio of foul balls as Silva can see the ball pretty well. All about the timing. Copperheads are eliminated from playoff contention on account of the Joes, Steam, and Scouts all playing each other multiple times in the last few games. But Copperheads still can have a lot of control over what happens in the playoffs, especially if they can upset the Settlers a few times. The 1-2 is chopped and fouled once again. So we'll stay at 1-2 as that pitch count is being driven up. And the Copperheads, they were able to really benefit yesterday off of that factor, as yesterday Braxton Foley of the Cincinnati Steam had a dominant effort, struck out 10 batters. And when you give up 12 runs in a day as a pitching staff, you would never guess that somebody struck out a team 10 different times, but that's what happened yesterday. But once Braxton Foley went out of the game, the Copperheads absolutely feasted on the relief pitchers of the Cincinnati Steam, and they'll try to do the same thing here if they can drive Lasecki out, as the 1-2 is swung on and missed for strike number 3, as they'll throw it out there to Johnson to complete the strikeout. Copperheads leave 2 runners on in Stallings and Steidel, but do pick up a few more hits. But the game is still scoreless going into the top of the 3rd inning. You're listening to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube. It's the top of the 3rd inning here at Bob Wren Stadium. Top of the 3rd is presented to you by OUCU Financial, where you belong. I want to give a shout out as well to these great people that have been helping out the Copperheads all season long. You got Chase the statistician, Skylar, our wonderful social media director, Ethan Sargent, who's been on a lot of broadcasts this year, also our PA announcer, and then Charlie Clegg, our co-GM this season. All have been doing great things for the Southern Ohio Copperheads this season, as Copperheads will grab the gloves, get back out to the field, and we'll see Cody Williams go into his 3rd inning of work. Had some sources tell me that Sam Maudsley will be coming in as well after Cody Williams is done with his day. You got two really solid guys. It seems like pitching tandems have been the name of the game for the Southern Ohio Copperheads. We saw Boer and Beery yesterday. That tandem has been absolutely exceptional, getting multiple wins over the Cincinnati Steam, also helping to get a win over the Scouts for those two OU Bobcats. So, due up this inning, it'll be Nick Lukac, Adam Crawford, and Turner Hill, the 8, 9, and 1 in the order as the Settlers. If they win, they beat the Copperheads and sweep the series 9-0. They will officially be in the playoffs no matter what happens against any of the other teams. So even if they lose to the Ice Haulers a pair of times and the Joes and Steam get hot and win the rest, which since they play each other, they'll have to at least lose a couple of times. And Settlers can really benefit off that. But the Copperheads, they can be a snake in the grass, so to speak, here for the Licking County Settlers. Now the Settlers really are just playing for that home field advantage, as that is very important in the playoffs. It'll be a pair of 3-game series for the playoff round, which is the semifinal, as well as the championship round, which will be coming up. So should be all over by early August as we're getting to the end of our season, sadly. Game 32 out of 38 here for the Southern Ohio Copperheads. Now from the on-deck circle, we see Nick Lukac, the shortstop at the University of Dayton, be coming up here to try to get hit number 1. As currently we have a no hits allowed situation. See if Cody Williams can keep it up. First pitch to Lukac is going to be swung on and driven high up into right field. Trey Rucker takes a couple paces backwards, makes the catch for out number 1. And if you want a pitcher that's going to be able to stay strong throughout his innings, being able to get quick outs like that is the key. So Lukac goes down on the fly out to Trey Rucker at right field. And now Adam Crawford will come up. He's batting .239 on the year, driven in 7 RBIs at California University of Pennsylvania. And he'll drive one up there into shallow left field. And Maverick Stallings will go back from his shortstop position, kind of backpedal a little bit and make the catch for out number 2. So 2 pitches, 2 outs. Don't get to say that too often in an inning, as the Copperheads are making quick work right now of the Settlers as we made our way back to the top of the order for Turner Hill out of Marietta College. Went to Heath High School, very close to the Licking County Settlers. You'll see the first pitch to Turner Hill, thrown in for a strike. As last time Hill was up, he walked back in the first inning. Now here in the third inning, he'll try to get on base again. We'll see a hit that does stay fair, going just inside the first base. It gets past Josh Steidel. Trey Rucker loses his hat, but makes the throw into the infield, and it'll be a standing double for Turner Hill, as his day has been solid, 1 for 1 with a walk. And with 2 down in the inning, Settlers have their first hit of the day. So Austin Davison will be back up, as that was strikeout number 1 for Cody Williams in the first inning, was against this man, Austin Davison. For Turner Hill, who's on second base, this is his last game as a Settler, as he's getting ready to go back, as many players around the league are getting ready for either the Prospect League in order to get drafted, or just going back to their different schools to start their own trainings and or have gotten to their limits, as the first pitch was thrown in for a strike. So it's 0-1 to Austin Davison. Cody Williams turns around, makes sure to check Turner Hill, who's at second base. In this scoreless game here in the top of the third inning. Got a different score bug today, as Tim's computer has all the base scoreboards, so we're using a little bit of a different one here today. The 0-1, outside and low. Good discipline from Austin Davison not to swing, and the count is evened up. Looks like we'll see a little bit of a meeting here on the mound between Silva and Williams as they look to get here on the same page. For the Settlers offense, they have 6 batters right now, batting over 300 over the last week, as they've been a very consistent bunch, but as different guys have to go out of the game or can't make different trips or have to leave, a lot of people will be spread thin, as Copperheads will be no exception. Settlers will be no exception. Neither will anybody else in the GLSCL. Cody Williams delivers the 1-1. It's going to be chopped right back to Cody Williams, who fields it on 3 hops, delivers it out to Josh Steidel at first base in time for out number 3. So the Copperheads yield 1 hit, but don't yield a single run as they go into the bottom of the 3rd. They'll look to take the lead. You listen to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube. We've reached the bottom of the 3rd inning here at Bob Wren Stadium. The bottom of the 3rd is presented to you by the Eclipse Company Store. So due up this inning is Carson Shepard, Clayton Hodges, and Kyle Ratliff, the 1-2-3 in the order. And we see the first pitch to Carson Shepard in for a ball as he likes to crowd the plate a little bit, really decrease the size of his strike zone, and it benefits him a lot as the 1-0 is absolutely harpooned out to left field. Going back towards the track is Logan Swanger to make the catch right before it could go over the wall, but still a good drive out there from Carson Shepard. But nevertheless, it's out number 1. So Shepard flies out to left field, and that'll bring on Clayton Hodges, who the last time he was up, he had a fly out to right field where Turner Hill made a great catch, kind of sliding over towards foul territory. First pitch to Hodges is outside for ball number 1. Coach TJ Lanning is 12-19 in his 2nd year. It's done a pretty solid job here for the Copperheads as the 1-0 hits off of Hodges off of the, won't be a hit by pitch, but it did ricochet off the bat and onto Hodges for a strike. So it's 1-1, but TJ Lanning will go back to Montreat College. He did bring some of his players with him. There were a lot of players, though, that he would have liked to have on the Copperheads that ended up not being able to be on the squad for multiple different reasons. And we went and reminisced on some of those players, also including Andrew Clellan, who was a pretty solid player as well, as the 1-1 is going to be hit. And there's an error out there. And that's good work from Clayton Hodges, who ends up benefiting off of the error as Logan White had some issues fielding the ball at 3rd base. And the Copperheads benefit. Yesterday, they did win the error battle as the Cincinnati Steam committed a couple, I believe 2 or 3. Copperheads kept it very clean, not giving up a single one. So Clayton Hodges reaches on the E5. And now Kyle Ratliff, who had a single the last time he was up on the first pitch, or at the 2nd pitch, he'll try to move Clayton Hodges up to 2nd, 3rd, or even home. We'll see as we'll see the pop fly that goes backwards for strike number 1. Copperheads, I feel a breakthrough is coming against the Licking County Settlers. Definitely tough when you have a team beat you over and over again. And it just starts by believing. And Copperheads have seen themselves be able to do well as the 0-1 is outside for ball number 1. The Copperheads have had some good outs against the Settlers, but it just seems like when their bats are on, their pitching wasn't, and when their pitching was on, their batting wasn't. So it's all about just putting it together as Clayton Hodges will slide back in to first base. Count is 1-1 with 1 out. The 1-1 fouled out over towards the Hocking River. The count is 1-2. Got a lot of Little League players and stuff like that in today, which is always lovely to see. My favorite tidbits is always what Coach said about the kids being able to go out there, ask him what his favorite Gatorade flavor is. And again, just lots of really charming stories there. As the 1-2, going to be a high pop fly that's going out in the left field. It does get down for a base hit. It gets in between the left fielder and center fielder, Logan Swanger and Adam Crawford. That's a single for Kyle Ratliff. He's 2 for 2, and he has had a hit in every game since the month of July has started. So Hodges advances to second. Kyle Ratliff is at first. And now we see Trey Rucker get his chance. His last time he was up, he had a fly out into right field. First pitch to Rucker is fouled off back towards the dugout of the Southern Ohio Copperheads. Now the count is 0-1 with 2 runners on here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Do not have the inning here on the scorebug. Still have to work on that a little bit, but we do have a scoreboard up here for you. You can expect that as well for the road games coming up against Sandusky Bay. As the 0-1 taken looking for strike number 2. No swing there from Trey Rucker, and Lazecki's pitch was on the money. Lazecki trying to get 2 wins against the Copperheads this season for the pitcher that is 2-1 on the season. With 1 down, the 0-2 pitch from Lazecki to Rucker is up high. No swing there. Good eye from Trey. Being disciplined out there. Trey Rucker is batting .259 on the year and just reached the milestone of 10 RBIs. You'll see the 1-2 pitch. Looked like it bounced off of the catcher, and that's going to be a pass ball situation. And now both runners advance as the count is evened up at 2. Kyle Ratliff to second. Clayton Hodges to third for the Southern Ohio Copperheads. So the count is even, 2-2. Trey Rucker trying to drive some runners home. Lazecki sets, delivers the 2-2. It's going to be a high pop fly out into right field. Turner Hill will make the catch. There's the tag. Clayton Hodges dashing in to home plate. There will be a throw, and it's not in time. Clayton Hodges crosses the plate, and the Copperheads are up 1-0 here at home against the Licking County Settlers. So Trey Rucker picks up the sacrifice fly, picks up his 11th RBI of the season, and with 2 down in the inning, Copperheads are up 1-0 with Kyle Ratliff on third base, who also took advantage of the tag situation. And now Josh Steidel will try to drive Kyle Ratliff home. He's driven in 14 RBIs on the season, coming off of a game against the Settlers where he went 1 for 2 with a double as he fouls off the first pitch for strike number 1 into the ground. Double was one that I thought was a home run when I first saw it, as it looked like it did clear the wall, but apparently it just hit off of the edge of the wall. Did come down in play. Just shows why I need to have glasses on when I'm up here in the broadcast booth, as we'll see the 0-1 high for ball number 1. So it's 1-1 here at Bob Wren Stadium. Copperheads up 1-0 here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Off of 5 hits, Settlers with just 1 hit. Copperheads looking for win number 1 against Licking County. We'll see the 1-1 is way outside. Davison has to slide to his left to be able to corral that. Count is 2-1. Josh Steidel had the game winner on opening night. He had a night to remember there as the 2-1 swung on and missed for strike number 2 as he had a home run, a walk-off sacrifice fly, as well as a double in that fantastic effort against the Grand Lake Mariners. Game number 1 feels like just yesterday, but now it's a month and a half ago. Hard to believe. So 2 balls, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch from Lazecki that hits Steidel. Steidel takes it on his right shoulder and walks over and gets his base. So runners on the corners now for the Copperheads. Steidel at first, Ratliff at third. And that's what Mason Nadoni will have to work with. Nadoni had a fly out to right field the last time he was up. And the last game that he had was against the Cincinnati Steam yesterday, where he went 1 for 3 with 1 run, 1 walk, and struck out once in that game. Picked up a nice double to right center field and was a part of that big inning where the Copperheads were able to force the situation into a mercy rule in that bottom of the 6th inning. Swung on and missed for strike number 1. So the count is 0-1 to Mason Nadoni at Concordia University. All-star third baseman for the Southern Ohio Copperheads. Played very well in the All-Star game. So had his parents in town as we'll see the 0-1 driven out into left field. It's down for a base hit. Mason Nadoni delivers. Kyle Ratliff crosses the plate. That's a run for the Copperheads. They're up 2-0 here in the bottom of the 3rd inning.
Now batting for the Copperheads, number 14, Ashton Bam Thomas.
Against the Licking County Settlers in their 3-game series that they had between July 11th and July 13th, Copperheads did not have more than 2 runs in a game. Now they have 2 runs in an inning here in the bottom of the 3rd, and with 2 runners on, Bam Thomas swings and misses at the first pitch for strike number 1. Josh Steidel is on second. Got Nadoni on first after picking up the singles. The Copperheads have made it rain with the hits, spraying it all around. They have 6 hits. All singles. As the 0-1 to Bam Thomas is going to be chopped over to second base as Lazecki will go from his pitcher position to cover, and he did not touch the plate. He did not touch the plate as it looks like there's a little bit of a discussion there, but from my eyes, he did not touch that plate, so he is safe. And it looks like Steidel will come across while the commotion is going on, and we'll see how they officially score this, but it was Bam Thomas chopping it over to second base. Kate Nellis filled it, and he gave it to Lazecki. Lazecki appeared not to touch the plate, and Coach Dennis of the Settlers does not like the call. And we'll see how this all gets sorted out. We'll have a discussion, but right now the Copperheads in a situation where they might have 3 runs as Josh Steidel came across the plate while the commotion was going on. There are 2 outs in the inning. And it looks like the discussion is over. They'll have the bases loaded as they're going to send Josh Steidel back to third base. But Bam Thomas is safe on the error. Go down as an E1. So Nadoni advances to second, Steidel to third. Bases are loaded here for the Copperheads with 2 outs, up 2-0 here against the Licking County Settlers. I'll go update that on the scoreboard real quick. Boom, there you go. With the bases loaded, Copperheads with 7 hits. So they're going to call it a hit there instead of an error as we see Maverick Stallings miss the first pitch. Stallings on the day has a single to left field and was retired at first base. 0-1 outside. So it's 1-1 with bases loaded. Any base hit here will drive home a run and increase the Copperheads' lead. Only the 3rd inning that the Copperheads have led out of the 51 innings that they played against the Licking County Settlers. The Settlers have dominated this series. But the Copperheads looking to get something going as there's a strike that barely nicks the plate. It was pretty far inside, but the count is 1-2 with 2 outs. Copperheads down to their last strike here with the bases loaded. Lozecki sets at the mound. Deals up high for ball number 2. Good discipline from Stallings not to chase after that one. Stallings from St. John's River State College came about midway through the season, and he's been absolutely exceptional for the Copperheads. Been a staple of the infield at shortstop. Also made some good plays as a batter as well, so swing and miss at the 2-2 pitch for out number 3. So the Copperheads leave them loaded, but do score 2 as Clayton Hodges and Kyle Rowliff both came home in this inning. So the Copperheads up 2-0 as we go into the top of the 4th inning. You're listening to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube. It's the top of the 4th inning here at Bob Wren Stadium, and the Copperheads are leading 2-0 over the Licking County Settlers. Top of the 4th inning is brought to you by Ohio Health. One of the coolest things here at Bob Wren Stadium is that a lot of the kids get to just sit over on the dugout and get to interact with the players, interact with Coach Lanning. And the anecdote I wanted to tell yesterday was that there was one time where Coach, he was over there having a conversation with one of the kids, and he was like, "Hey, Coach, what's your favorite Gatorade flavor?" And Coach was like, "Orange." And the kid ended up going out to get him a Gatorade, which was very nice. And again, just really showcases how just as much as the Copperheads helped the community helped the Copperheads as well. It always makes me smile being able to hear about little stories like that, as we'll see the first pitch from Ben Kaplan was fouled off for strike number 1. And now we'll see the second pitch outside for a ball. So the count is evened up. 1-1 count here to Ben Kaplan in the top of the 4th inning. Copperheads nursing a 2-0 lead. The 1-1 is fouled off for strike number 2 towards the bullpen of the Licking County Settlers. So it's 1-2 to Kaplan. Kaplan had a fly out to Josh Steidel at first base the last time he was up. 1-2 on its way outside. So it's evened up, 2-2. No outs, nobody on here in the top of the 4th inning at Bob Wren Stadium. Settlers coming off of a split series against the Ice Haulers, where they lost the first one 11-1. And then the second game, they bounced back and won 7-3. A little bit of a preview there for the Copperheads. And the Ice Haulers will be matching up tomorrow up in Sandusky, which will be very nice, as Copperheads will all be going to Cedar Point. And we'll see the 3-2 to Kaplan. It's going to be a high pop fly out in the center field, back towards the track. Clayton Hodges takes a few steps back, makes the catch, shows off his cannon, being able to throw it all the way into the infield from the track. 1 down. Kaplan goes down on a fly out to center field, and that'll bring on Logan Swanger out of Tiffin University. And the last time he was up, he grounded out to Mason Adani. He was able to get it in time to Josh Steidel for out number 3 of the top of the 1st inning. First pitch, the Swanger swung on and missed there. So it's 0-1 with one down in the inning. Copperheads up 2-0 over the Licking County Settlers, looking for win number 1 against the Settlers. And Copperheads trying to hurt the Settlers' playoff prospects. So it'll be pretty difficult to do so. But if the Copperheads can beat them 3 more times, they could really mix up the playoff race a lot. As the teams that are still alive in the playoffs right now, the Settlers 20-13, Steam 17-14, Joe's at 18-15, and the Scouts can't be slept on at 16-16. Still with an opportunity there if they get hot as they play the Joes and the Steam, so they'll be able to control their own destiny in the race. We'll see the 0-2 swung on and missed by Swanger. That's strike number 3 as Cody Williams showed off his heat a little bit there to pick up the strikeout. So that makes 4 strikeouts on the day for Cody Williams, and that'll bring on Caleb Johnson. Last time Johnson was up, he had a fly out to Clayton Hodges at center field. As Caleb Johnson is one of the newest members of the Licking County Settlers, and he was very impressive in his first start as a Settler. It was against the Copperheads at the beginning of their series starting on July 11th, as we'll see a high fly ball out into left field. It's a drive that goes down right before the wall as Bam Thomas, the left fielder, is going to have to make a throw out to second base, and there'll be a sliding double for the Licking County Settlers. Caleb Johnson absolutely harpooned that ball. It looked like it had a chance at one point to get out, but it did fall short and bounced into the wall, and Bam Thomas was able to pick it up off of the ricochet and keep it at a double. Caleb Johnson reaches second, as that is the second double of the day. Funny enough, both doubles for the Licking County Settlers have come in 2-out situations. So Cody Williams will have his shot to close the door, as Cody Williams is usually known for giving up a good amount of hits, but doesn't give up a lot of runs. He's the bend but don't break pitcher of this staff. As to deliver the first pitch up high for ball number 1 to Cade Nellis, who struck out swinging back in the second inning the last time he was up. Copperheads up 2-0 with 1 runner on in Caleb Johnson. Looking to end the top of the 4th inning here with a bang, as we'll see the 1-0 outside. So it's 2-0. As it is church day, or church night here at Bob Wren Stadium. So got a lot of local churches that have been able to come here, show up, support the Southern Ohio Copperheads. As the 2-0 skips across the ground. It looks like Johnson's going to try to take advantage of it. The throw to Mason Nadolny is missed, and out into the outfield. Bam Thomas fields it. He's going to throw it to home plate, and that throws off the mark, and that's a run for the Licking County Settlers. The errors come back to bite the Copperheads, and they pay the price as Caleb Johnson is able to get home off of the mistakes of the Copperheads. It's 2-1 here at Bob Wren Stadium. So those are the ones that just kind of shoot yourself in the foot as the 3-0 is outside. It's a 4-pitch walk. Cade Nellis to first base here with 2 down in the inning. Copperheads just need 1 more out. But Caleb Johnson did make the Copperheads pay for their mistakes. So now batting for the Licking County Settlers, it's Logan White, the number 7 batter on their order. He'll work with 1 runner on as the first pitch is up high for a ball. So Cade Nellis on first base off of the walk. That's walk number 2 of the day for Cody Williams. And it looks like Josh Steidel will have some advice. Josh Steidel, normally a catcher, but playing first base today for the Copperheads. So, of course, he'll have some really good advice for what's going on behind the dish. As the Copperheads mixed up the order a little bit today with Silva, catcher, Josh Steidel at first base. You'll see a nice little rotation there between Mitch Class, Bam Thomas, and Josh Steidel is the 1-0. It's too low, so it's 2-0 with 2 outs. Copperheads up 2-1 over the Licking County Settlers, looking to keep their lead. Settlers trying to take the lead for the first time today. The 2-0 to White. That time it's in the strike zone there. As it always feels great if you've thrown a couple of pitches off the mark, just to get back and find that strike zone for the first time means a lot. As now the count is 2-1 to Logan White, who struck out swinging last time he was up. The 2-1. High pop fly. That's going to stay in the infield. Maverick Stallings calls it, makes the catch, and the Copperheads retire the side. The Copperheads give up one, but do not yield the lead as the Copperheads are up 2-1 going into the bottom of the fourth inning. You listen to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube. It's the bottom of the fourth inning here at Bob Wren Stadium. Bottom of the fourth is presented to you by Larry's Doghouse. So if you haven't gotten to come to the stadium yet and try the Copperhead Crunch Dog, what are you waiting for? That dog is one of the best ones I've ever had. Nice chili, a little bit of cheese. You got some onions as well, too. Crispy onions, to be exact. Jalapenos and that special Copperhead sauce. Larry's Doghouse always does it right here in Athens. Make sure to come out to the park to get yourself a dog. Copperheads are up 2-1 over the Licking County Settlers, and they're going to look to try to extend their lead here in the bottom of the fourth inning. It'll be Sebastian Silva, Carson Shepard, Clayton Hodges, the 9, 1, and 2 in the order that'll look to get it started here for the Southern Ohio Copperheads, as the Copperheads left them loaded in the last inning. However, they were able to get 2 runs, one of them coming off of an RBI single from Mason Nadani, scoring Kyle Ratliff. The other was Clayton Hodges scoring on an RBI sac fly as Sebastian Silva skies it out, and there's a drop. Mistake out there in the outfield as he hit it in no man's land in left field right between Swanger and Lukac, and they couldn't communicate, and as a result, Silva takes advantage. So the ruling will go down as a hit for the scoring, as it seemed like it fell in between both of them as none of them got a glove technically on it. So it'll be hit number 8 as Sebastian Silva picks up the big single there. And now that'll bring on Carson Shepard, who is 1 for 2 on the day, has a single, a fly out to left field, as well as was caught stealing in that first inning. As you see the first pitch taken right to the arm, and Carson Shepard, he's reached the milestone of 10 hit by pitches. As ouch is all you can say to that. Is again, we've made that joke all throughout the year, but also it's pretty serious getting hit that many times by 80-mile-per-hour pitches, 70-mile-per-hour pitches. And I think at this point, Coach Dennis has seen enough, or at least wants to go talk with his guys. There is bullpen activity right now. Coach Jake Dennis, head coach for the Licking County Settlers, and at 20-13 this year, he's done an impressive job with his squad, assisted by Doug Moore and Roy Wisner. Copperheads, of course, they're coached by TJ Lanning, sitting out there at third base, and Coach Chase Harris, who is at first base, who's a former Southern Ohio Copperhead player, as well as a Ohio Bobcat pitcher. Pretty solid for the Bobcats this year, and was really solid for the Copperheads in his career as well. It looks like Lasecki will stay on the mound here for the Licking County Settlers. With 2 runners on, Carson Shepard reached by a hit by pitch, and Sebastian Silva is on second after reaching on a technical single, but was essentially an error by the outfield by the Licking County Settlers. So the pitch to Clayton Hodges on the breaking ball misses outside for ball number 1. So it's 1-0 to Clayton Hodges, who reached first base on an error the last time he was up, and he was able to get all the way around the base paths and get home off of an RBI sac fly from Trey Rucker. Pitch to Clayton Hodges is this time right over the plate and on the money. So it's 1-1 to Clayton Hodges, coming off of his best day he's had this season. Went 3 for 3, which is a season high for hits, season high for batting average in a game as well. Drove in a trio of RBI. 1-1. It's going to be a great bunt right over there to Lasecki. Lasecki turns around, throws it, and the throw is not in time. What hustle by Clayton Hodges as he's really come on as of late and comes through for the Copperheads. And the bases are loaded for Kyle Ratliff.
Now batting for the Copperheads, number 2, Kyle Ratliff.
So Ratliff with a chance to make history as he is looking for home run number 8. That would give him the record. He's also looking for the second Grand Slam of the season. He currently leads the GLSCL in Grand Slams with 1, tied with a couple of other batters. And he'll swing and foul off the first pitch. So it's 0-1 to Kyle Ratliff, who already has a pair of hits on the day. He's been favoring that left field side because both of his hits went that direction. He also has a run on the day. He was driven in by Mason Nadolny on his single to left field as the Copperheads have registered 9 hits on Lasecki. As Kyle Ratliff takes the 0-1 pitch down low, does not swing. It's a 1-1 count now here at Bob Wren Stadium. Copperheads up 2-1 over the Licking County Settlers. It's the bottom of the 4th inning as we're nearing the halfway point here at home. Copperheads only have 2 more home games left after this. Be against the Ice Haulers on the 22nd and 23rd of July. As the 1-1 is going to be a high pop fly that will go foul into the crowd. Ooh, it looks like somebody actually got hit by that. I hope they're all right, as that could not have felt good there. It was a high pop fly. Looks like things will slow down here on the field temporarily, as it looks like they are okay. There'll be a couple of Copperheads workers there just to check on the woman there to make sure that she's all right. A couple of other fans as well, helping to make sure she's okay. Definitely love how everybody again rallies, everybody's family here at Bob Wren Stadium. When one of us is hurt, you always got people up there to help them. But we'll see the 1-2 pitch to Kyle Ratliff. It's taken outside of the plate for ball number 2. So good discipline by Kyle Ratliff, as it is very much a mental game at the plate, as Kyle Ratliff has a really great understanding of the game from just being able to talk to him and just his intelligence at the plate. See the 2-2 from Lasecki inside this time on the attempted pitch. There is 3-2. So payoff pitch coming. Can't afford to walk anybody. So could expect something on the plate here for Kyle Ratliff. A good chance, as we'll see the payoff pitch coming here at Bob Wren Stadium with the bases loaded. Kyle Ratliff up to bat, looking for home run number 8 this season. The 3-2 swung on and missed for strike number 3. Kyle Ratliff goes down on strikes. Copperheads still have bases loaded, though. Silva at third, Shepard at second, Hodges at first, as that is strikeout number 3 for Lasecki, one of his biggest strikeouts there, and he'll try to stave off the Copperheads. As we'll see Coach Dennis come back out, and it may be the end of the day for Lasecki, as he'll give up the ball. Lasecki pitched 3 1/3 innings, gave up 9 hits, as the Copperheads did a good job being able to take advantage of him. And we'll take a short break as we'll have a new pitcher incoming here for the Licking County Settlers. Listen to Copperhead Baseball on YouTube. Welcome back into the middle of the bottom of the fourth inning with the Copperheads up 2-1 and have the bases loaded as we have a new pitcher here for the Licking County Settlers. It's Brian Perrone, a familiar face, as he's pitched multiple times against the Copperheads this season, a duo of them to be exact, on July 11th and July 13th, both wins for the Licking County Settlers. He pitched 2 2/3 innings, allowing only 1 hit, and struck out 1. And picked up the save against the Copperheads in their 5-2 win. And then against the Copperheads on July 13th, pitched 1 inning. Picked up a save again with 2 walks, 1 strikeout. So this guy's been a save machine for the Licking County Settlers. He's 0 for 2 total on the year, 6.15 ERA, and his 19 innings pitched. 19 strikeouts, 20 walks for Perrone, for the man out of Seton Hill University. And he'll go against Trey Rucker to start it off here with the bases loaded, not in an easy situation for him, as we'll see the 1-2. Up high, pass ball, Clayton Hodges and Silva, and everybody on base is going to take advantage there. It's Silva coming in, and Hodges advances to second. Shepard advances to third. Copperheads able to get their 3rd run of the day. You really don't get a lot of time to warm up here when the bases are loaded with only 1 out. You have to be sharp right out of the gate, and the Copperheads are able to take advantage of the mistake. So Silva comes in off of the wild pitch, and now Trey Rucker laces one that gets between the third baseman and shortstop. It's another base hit and another RBI and another run for the Southern Ohio Copperheads. Trey Rucker with his 2nd RBI. Carson Shepard gets across the plate for the Copperheads run. It's 4-1 here at Bob Wren Stadium.
Now batting for the Copperheads, number 15, Josh Steidel.
So we have runners on the corners as Carson Shepard is getting home, as well as Sebastian Silva in this inning. Clayton Hodges is at 3rd base, Trey Rucker at 1st, and now Josh Steidel, who has a single and a hit by pitch to his name today, will try to drive in a run. With 1 down in the inning, Perrone on the mound. First pitch, fouled off for strike number 1 to Josh Steidel. Copperheads have put up 2 runs, 2 consecutive innings now, 2 in the 3rd, 2 in the 4th, and they're going to look to turn more as the bats have been very, very hot for the Copperheads as of lately. 10 hits already today, and that pitch is taken outside for a ball. As Copperheads, when talking to Coach Lanning, people thought in this GLSCL that the Copperheads would be the team to beat, especially through the first 6 games of the Copperheads. Started the season 4-2, pulling off some very impressive wins. As we'll see a mistake there, it's an error. Perrone fires way too fast for Johnson. Johnson can't corral it. Trey Rucker running with all he's got. He's running for 3rd, and he'll try to make it to the plate. Is he able to evade it? No, he is not, as he looks like he is down. As Trey Rucker tried to get into 3rd base, he is down. Copperheads get run number 5. But now the worry right here is if Trey Rucker is okay. So we'll take a little break as Rucker does make his way off of the field, so gets a nice little standing ovation there. He ends up being out, but we hope that he is okay. He's walking off on his own power. But the bases now have cleared. It was Clayton Hodges coming around for run number 5. Trey Rucker was picked off at 3rd base on the tag, and we definitely hope that he's all right as the 2-1 pitch to Josh Steidel goes down low for ball number 3. As we'll stay with you guys, is glad to know that the injury wasn't too serious for that he would be stuck on the field there, but count is 3-1 to Josh Steidel. Fouled off backwards. Count is 3-2, 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Nobody on now here at Bob Wren Stadium. 3 runs have scored this inning. Sebastian Silva scores on the wild pitch. Carson Shepard scores off of the hit from Trey Rucker. Now Josh Steidel is up to bat. Clayton Hodges scored on the error. And they'll foul off the hit over towards Coach Chase Harris, who's not able to get his hand down far enough. Over the last 2 days, the 3rd base and 1st base coaches have been 0 for 3 at fielding balls. The full payoff pitch is going to miss. And might have an adjustment there. Maybe it was foul tipped a little bit. Or we just have the count wrong here. So this should be the payoff pitch now. Correction. The 3-2. Oh, it's a high pop fly. That's going into kind of no man's land out in left field. But it looks like this time the communication is better by the Licking County Settlers as Nick Lukac calls it. And that's out number 3 here in the inning. So the Copperheads are able to put up 3 runs here in the 4th inning. And when we come back, it'll be Nick Lukac, Adam Crawford, and Turner Hill for the Licking County Settlers as they try to make a comeback here at Bob Wren Stadium. You listen to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube. It's the 5th inning here at Bob Wren Stadium. Top of the 5th is presented to you by Jackie O's. If you haven't tried out the Homer's Hazy IPA, for all of our Copperheads over the age of 21, we definitely recommend it. We'll do a little bit of a score update around the league as the Richmond Jazz have taken 2 out of 3 against the Michigan Monarchs as they won today 6-5 out at the historic McBride Stadium. And it looks like they will play another game today as they had a pair of doubleheaders, and they're in the top of the 6th, and the Jazz are up 3-1 over the Monarchs, who had the best record in the league going into that series. The Settlers will try to take it from them, but Settlers right now are in a little bit of trouble against the Copperheads as Lukac hits it right out to Maverick Stallings, who fields it on one hop, delivers it out to Josh Steidel, and he's able to make the play at first base for out number 1. Once again, the Copperheads come up with a first pitch out. It's been something they've been proficient at today. And now it is the hot dog hitter, one of the best times at the ballpark. So this is where the fans always get hyped, where the rest of the inning, hot dogs will be just $1 if Crawford strikes out. Williams' first pitch is up high for ball number 1 to Crawford, who has a fly out to Maverick Stallings on the pop fly. That was back in the 3rd inning. So Cincinnati Steam up 3-0 over the Hamilton Joes as we see strike number 1 thrown from Williams. That has a lot of implications as the Joes and Steam are jockeying for a playoff spot. If Cincinnati Steam can win that game, that'd be a huge road win and put them in the driver's seat for that last playoff spot. Also, some more cross-divisional action going on. Lima Locos against the Grand Lake Mariners. Locos are up 2-1 over the Mariners. And lastly, Jetbox and Royal Oaks, 2 crosstown rivals, are in a battle. Jetbox up 4-0 in the top of the 4th as the 1-1 misses low. So it's 2-1 with 1 down in the inning, nobody on. Copperheads up 5-1 over the Licking County Settlers. Game they have led since the 2nd inning. Check that 3rd inning. We'll see a little ground out to Josh Steidel. Fields it on the grounder, no problem for out number 2. So Steidel's been kept busy so far in this inning. And now we'll bring on Turner Hill with 2 down.
Now batting for the Settlers, number 22, Turner Hill.
Turner Hill has been very successful on his day. He has a walk as well as a double for the Licking County Settlers. So he's somebody that the Copperheads will have to look out for. Could be a tough out here for Cody Williams. First pitch outside for ball number 1. So it's 1-0 due Turner Hill. Here in the top of the 5th inning, Copperheads up 5-1 over the Licking County Settlers. Just me, Sedric Granger today, as Tim Hanna is out. You'll have some more people as there's a deep drive out into center field that goes down for a base hit. Clayton Hodges fields it up on 2 hops, makes a throw back into the infield, and it'll be a single for Turner Hill as he has been absolutely on fire today. Has a walk, a double, and a single, rocking that 100% on base percentage right now. And now Austin Davison will come up. He had a strikeout in the first inning, grounded out to the pitcher, Cody Williams, in the third, and he'll look for hit number 1 here in the 5th. Got to give a big shout out to Trevor Stevens on the music, getting a lot of childhood favorites out there. We saw Hot Dog from Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. Now we're seeing the Magic School Bus. Got to love it as we'll see the first pitch. No swing there, but the ball does go over the plate for strike number 1. So it's 0-1 to Austin Davison. So again, we love being a family-friendly environment here at Bob Wren Stadium. One of the best hallmark things there is the slider is able to get the batter Austin Davison there to swing at it. So it's 0-2 to Austin Davison in this 5-1 game here in the top of the 5th inning. 1 runner on in Turner Hill. Williams with a chance to get out of the inning right here as he sets on the mound, takes a breath, delivers his pitch, swung on and missed for strike number 3. Silva picks it up, throws it out to Josh Steidel to complete the strikeout. Copperheads retire the side, giving up nothing as their defense has been stingy as of late, and they're looking to keep that momentum going into the rest of these innings. But when we come back, the Copperheads will grab the bats, and it'll be Mason Nadolny, Josh Thomas, or Bam Thomas, and Maverick Stallings right there. So those will be the 6, 7, and 8 who will be due up this inning. You listen to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube.
Best moves and get a chance to dance with Homer and win a prize.
It's the bottom of the 5th inning here at Bob Wren Stadium. The bottom of the 5th is presented to you by Steak and Shake. Start the inning off with Homer, our wonderful mascot here for the Southern Ohio Copperheads. Of course, you bring the kids out there, always love seeing Homer. Even the bigger kids and the adults love seeing Homer out there as he gets a couple of high fives. The Copperheads are up 5-1 over the Licking County Settlers, looking for win number 1 against the Settlers. As we'll see some different types of activities that are going to be offered here. We always love having our promotions here at Bob Wren Stadium and even outside of Bob Wren Stadium as well, whether it's reading at the library with different students as well as swimming with the snakes, which is always a very exciting event. You see some competitions. One of the ones was a belly flop competition as well, where Trey Rucker, Jake Jordan, a couple other guys competed in that one. So lots of fun with those events. But in this inning, it's Mason Nadolny, Bam Thomas, who I mistakenly called Josh. I apologize for that, Bam Thomas, and Maverick Stallings, the 6, 7, 8 in the lineup as Perone gets his first full inning on the mound. He throws that pitch way inside for ball number 1. So it's 1-0 to Nadolny, who has a hit. Back in the 3rd inning, it was a single out to left field of the RBI variety, and then had a fly out to right field as the 1-0 is taken outside of the zone, but it does nick the inside for one, make the count 1-1. That's why I need glasses up here in the booth sometimes. I'll say something's outside when it was inside, inside when it was outside. It's a good thing I'm in here in the press box and not an umpire, as we'll see the 1-1 on its way inside for strike number 3. As it looked like they got him looking, unless the count is wrong. I think it is. So, getting confused here in the bottom of the 5th inning. It happens, as now we'll see the 1-2 pitch. 1-2 is outside pass ball, so the count is evened up at 2-2. Copperheads are up 5-1 off of 10 hits, and they're going to look to try to extend this lead more and more. And for Coach TJ Lanning and the Southern Ohio Copperheads, he want nothing more than to potentially rule the Settlers, a team that has been a thorn in our side as the 2-2 is swung on and missed, foul tipped, caught by the catcher. So that's a strikeout for Perone, strikeout number 1, and that'll bring on Ashton Bam Thomas. Looking to get on base here. Bam Thomas was able to reach in the 3rd inning off of a walk. He also hit into a fielder's choice back in the 2nd inning. Copperheads are up 5-1 thanks to runs from Clayton Hodges, Kyle Ratliff, Carson Shepard, Hodges again, and then Sebastian Silva as the first pitch is swung on and missed by Bam for strike number 1. So some RBIs on the day. Trey Rucker has a duo of them. Mason Nadolny has one as well. The 0-1 swung on and fouled backwards for strike number 2. So it's 0-2 with 1 down in the inning, nobody on. 5-1 lead for the Southern Ohio Copperheads over the rivaling Licking County Settlers as these two teams play 9 times over the span of this year. There are other series in this division that play 9 times as well, including the Hamilton Joes, Cincinnati Steam, and Zinga Scouts all play each other 9 times this season as well. As the 0-2 to Bam Thomas outside, just barely, though, for ball number 1. So it's 1-2 with 1 down in the inning. Copperheads looking forward to the fun trip coming up to Sandusky. They'll get to go to Cedar Point, which I'm excited to be able to tag along with that trip as we'll see the 1-2. Inside, good work from Bam Thomas, and they're going to call it a strike? Wow, tough call there, as it did kind of go a little bit inside, and it was a later call. So Bam Thomas a little frustrated with that, tossed the bat over to Maverick Stallings, and I was surprised at that call as well.
Number 25, Maverick Stallings.
So in comes Maverick Stallings after Nadolny went down on strikes and Bam Thomas went down on strikes. Maverick Stallings with a single and a strikeout on his day. With nobody on, Perone sets, deals his pitch, and it's in for strike number 1. So this inning has been immaculate right now for Perone. He came into the game, and he's done very well for his squad, as we'll see the 0-1 pitch. Outside for ball number 1. So announcer's jinx working in our favor this time here for the Copperheads. Just want to give a shout out to the Settlers broadcast crew, Andrew Allison, Cade Williamson, always great guys. Cade, personal colleague of mine with the Ohio Bobcat Sports, so love being able to see him every time the Copperheads and Settlers play as the 1-1 skipped across the ground for a ball. Looking like a rock over a lake, or in my case, I can't skip a stone, so rock just sinks. See the 2-1 on its way from Perone, rather. Time it does go low once again. So after dialing up a lot of strikes, we see 3 straight balls now from Perone. Stallings looking to get on base for the 2nd time today. The 3-1. High pop fly going towards foul territory, and it will go foul for strike number 2. So it's a full count to Maverick Stallings. Though Copperheads have been eliminated from playoff contention, there's still plenty to play for here. If they can get to 17 wins, it could be pretty huge as well, as the worst record in the history of the Copperheads is 16 wins, which really speaks to how good the Copperheads have been over the years. That's 16-22. Is the worst record, as we'll see the payoff pitch to Stallings swung on and missed. So 3 straight strikeouts to retire the side from Perone as he's come in, and he's been in a league of his own, for lack of better terms. But when we come back, it'll be Ben Kaplan, Logan Swanger, and Caleb Johnson for the Licking County Settlers. You're listening to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube.
paid their way back. This is the first time in many, many years that they have been back here, and they have decided to renew their vows. Kiki and Preston McClellan, do you promise to love and cherish each other? Through strikeouts and infield singles, perfect weather and rainouts, double plays and home runs, till the end of all seasons? If so, in unison, say, I do. I do. By the power vested in me by the Board of Copperheads in the state of Ohio, I now pronounce you once again and always husband and wife.
How can you not love love at the ballpark? As usually sometimes you'll see the kissing cams, but how about a renewal of vows here at Bob Arend Stadium? That's what we had between two former Copperhead workers. So again, people not only get to have professional development here at Bob Arend Stadium, but also sometimes you might meet your future partner as well. Really exciting to see at Bob Arend Stadium. But welcome everybody to the top of the sixth inning. As we've already gotten here, we're getting through this game real quick, as the top of the sixth inning is presented to you by OUCU Financial, where you belong. Again, we're always appreciative of the rest of our sponsors. I mean, you guys are doing great things for us this year, making things possible. Also, one that has not been mentioned yet on any of our broadcasts, Fogger and Mortine. They've been really helping us as we're going to get started with the podcast coming up soon, the community-owned, student-operated podcast, a little bit of a nod to our slogan. So we're excited to get that implemented and get that going, hosted by me as well as Tim Hanna and Ethan Sargent. And we'll have lots of different guests and everything like that, so it should be very exciting. But leading off, it'll be Ben Kaplan. And then Logan Swanger, the beer batter, will be coming up. And it's always interesting to see how different guys react to the beer batter. Some guys may get nervous that the crowd starts chirping at them. Some guys, like Bennett Clement of the Joes, actively appreciate it and use that as a grounds to have villain behavior, where he'll intentionally bunt and then smirk at the crowd and get a wave of boos. So it's very exciting, but only fitting when we're talking about beer batter and brew week that we talk about booze as well. See the first pitch. Going to be hit right out to Carson Shepard. Fields it on a hop. Delivers it out to Josh Steidel for out number one, as he almost fell off of the plate, but is able to get that little toe drag swag on the plate, getting out number one. So Ben Kaplan goes down on the ground out, and that'll bring on Logan Swanger. Here comes the beer batter. So we'll see how Logan Swanger reacts to it. Swanger is one of the reigning players of the week. So again, he's absolutely one of the best batters in this league here. So he'll be a tough out. Cody Williams will have to earn it, pitching into his sixth inning and deliver the first pitch. Goes up high for ball number one. Switching up the camera angles a little bit so you guys can kind of get a nice little idea of what's going down at the plate, and zoom out just a little bit as you see the 1-0 pitch hit out to Carson Shepard, who's going to deliver it right out to Josh Steidel for another out. So it's two outs that reflect each other, a pair of 4-3 ground outs. And now it's a quick 2 up, 2 down. 2-out rallies, though, have been the problem. Or I wouldn't say 2-out rallies, more accurately 2 outs and then giving up a hit. But then after that, it's pretty quiet for the Licking County Settlers, who have only 1 run. They scored in the 4th inning off of an error. Caleb Johnson getting home and being the benefactor of a mistake made at third base. As we'll see the first pitch for Johnson fouled off, bouncing off of his knee. And the count is 0-1 with nobody on, 2 outs here in the top of the 6th inning. Copperheads up 5-1 over the Licking County Settlers. Copperheads trying to finish off this game and pull off the monumental upset. Have not beaten the Settlers yet this year. But Copperheads have shown they have been a team that you don't want to play in this league. They have upset the Xenia Scouts, and they have upset the Hamilton Joes as well on the season when they've been in first place. So anything can happen in the GLSEL. You have to be on your A game every night, or there's going to be a team gunning for your position. And the Copperheads have embraced the snake in the grass as the 0-2 swung on and fouled. So the count remains at 0-2 here in the top of the 6th inning. So the fans have gotten pretty loud here as Ethan Sargent, our PA announcer, has just announced that we'll have another beer batter in Caleb Johnson. If Johnson strikes out right now, it'll be low price beer the rest of the inning. The 0-2 down low for ball number 1. Johnson goes back a little bit, regathers himself, and goes back up to the plate. People's trying to start some clap chants as well, too. We'll see if it builds up some momentum. As for the Copperheads, they're going to try to build momentum in this inning as Cody Williams on the mound will set, deliver his pitch, and it'll go outside and low for ball number 2. So the count is evened up. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Copperheads up 5-1 in the top of the 6th inning here at Bob Wren Stadium in game 32 out of 38, as it's been quite a roller coaster of a season. Only fitting that we're going to Cedar Point very soon, as there's been big ups, including the Copperheads start of the year, as well as the turn of Golden Knight, as the 2-2 pitch is taken inside. He got him looking. Cody Williams picking up the big strikeout and giving reduced price beer to all the fans here at Bob Wren Stadium. Heck, even if you're at home right now, why don't you make your way to Bob Wren Stadium? You can get lower price beer. If the Copperheads can get it going in the bottom of the 6th inning, that can give you a lot of time to go and get that. We got a 5-1 game here at Bob Wren Stadium going into the bottom of the 6th. You're listening to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube. It's the bottom of the 6th inning here at Bob Wren Stadium. The bottom of the 6th is presented to you by the Eclipse Company Store. Sebastian Silva, the 9th batter, will get it started there. He takes the first pitch for a ball as Silva, Shepard, Hodges all due up the 9, 1, and 2 in this Copperheads lineup. Perone still on the mound. The righty delivers the pitch. It's outside of the zone, just nicking it for strike number 1. So it's 1-1 to Sebastian Silva, who has a single and a strikeout that hit that kind of went into no man's land in left field between Swanger and Lukac, and he was able to get it down in between them as neither of them could communicate to make the catch. It's the 1-1, big swing and miss there. So it's 1-2 to Sebastian Silva. Silva attends Virginia Military Institute and is from Martins Ferry, Ohio. So coming back to his home state here to play some summer ball as see the Orange Crush getting ready to get out there as well. As we'll stay on for that race. That should be exciting as the 1-2 is outside. It's 2-2 with nobody on, no outs here in the bottom of the sixth inning. Copperheads up 5-1 over the Licking County Settlers. Roan takes a breath and delivers his pitch. Pop fly out into foul territory. It looks like the Orange Crush gets some more high fives, but we'll stay at 2-2. Copperheads were able to score 2 runs in the third, 3 in the fourth, and that's how they have their lead. Settlers' only run came in the fourth inning. Silva will grab himself and take a little break there. And then he'll set back up in the batter's box for the lefty. The 2-2, it's going to be driven out into right field, and it goes foul down the first base line. So stay at 2-2 as Sebastian Silva's done a great job of forcing high pitch counts out of not only Perone, but also Lazecki as well. And that's how the Copperheads were so quickly able to drive Lazecki out. Two on its way, and it's outside. We got a full count here at Bob Wren Stadium to Sebastian Silva. 3 balls, 2 strikes, no out, nobody on. Payoff pitch on its way to Silva. He swung on and missed for strike number 3. So that's 4 strikeouts already for Perone. He struck out 4 in a row. Now Carson Shepard will look to figure him out. He's had a solid day with a single, a hit by pitch, a run, and then 1 fly out as well. So see if Carson Shepard can be the man to figure out Perone. Carson Shepard this season against the Settlers is 5 for 21. So he's played in a couple of games, has had some solid outings, and he'll bloop that one out into right center field, and it goes down for a base hit. What touch he put on that, right in between the center fielder Crawford, the right fielder Hill, and Caden Ellis, the second baseman. Good work from Carson Shepard as he breaks the strikeout streak that Perone was building. So Shepard is on first off of the bloop single, and now Clayton Hodges comes up to the plate. He has a pair of runs, a single, and reached on an error as well. Total on the day, he's 1 for 2, plus the reach on error. So it's 1 runner on, 1 out. Perone sets up on the mound, delivers the first pitch to Clayton Hodges, and he fouls it off towards the grass berm to the right of the field, and it goes over the fans in their lawn chairs, which I really love that area. That's actually the first interaction I had with Bob Wren Stadium as a freshman at Ohio University, attending a doubleheader between the Ohio Bobcats and the Eastern Michigan Eagles, and the Bobcats won both games. It was great. I got to have my first little broadcast experience as well. So good memories here at Bob Wren Stadium, and I know a lot of people are making great memories for themselves as the 0-1 is low, so it's evened up at 1-1, 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out here at Bob Wren Stadium. Copperheads up 5-1 in the bottom of the 6th inning. Copperheads and Settlers playing for round number 7. Settlers up 6-0 in the series. Copperheads looking to change that as that hit is right down Broadway, right over the head of Perone. Clayton Hodges puts that thing right back where it came from with that hit. So Shepard is at second, Hodges is at first, and that'll bring on Kyle Ratliff, who is 2 for 3 on the day with a pair of singles and a strikeout as well. Kyle Ratliff is 3rd in RBIs right now in the GLSCL. At one point, he was quite far behind Austin Deering. Deering had 27, while Ratliff had only 19. Now Deering has 29, Ratliff has 27. So Ratliff may have a chance here to take the RBI total and take the home run title as Perone throws it right at his head. Ratliff ducks underneath that one. Clayton Hodges and Carson Shepard both advance. As it looked like Perone has to talk to Ratliff there to say that was my bad, completely accidental. As we know, there's No mean intent or anything like that. But nevertheless, it's ball number 1 to Kyle Ratliff with Shepard on third, Hodges on second. See the 1-0 pitch coming. And it is outside, but it does hit the edge of the strike zone. That'll be a controversial call here in Bob Moran. As got some of the most passionate fans in the land, and they'll let people hear it when things aren't right. As we'll see the 1-1 on its way. Perone gathers himself. He deals the pitch up high once again on a breaking ball that curved down to the outside of the zone. It's 2-1. 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 out. Copperheads up 5-1. Shepard on third, Hodges on second. And now Coach Lanning is going to have some discussion here with the coaches. It looks like he'll be able to go back to third base here after making his point made here to the ump. So we'll see the 2-1 pitch coming to Kyle Ratliff with 2 runners on, Perone on the mound. The 1-2 swung on and missed there. Ratliff tried to send that one out of the park. Count is 2-2 now with 2 runners on here. Annie Valent giving a nice cheer there for the Copperheads. Always a nice active voice here in the crowd for the Copperheads, as well as an active voice in this organization. She's done great things with the Copperheads for a long time. As the 2-2. Ooh, it hits off of the catcher Davison, and Carson Shepard's able to reach off of that mistake. So Copperheads up 6-1 here at home as Carson Shepard, who always finds different ways to reach first base, finds a different way now to reach home. So Copperheads now nursing a 5-run lead, and they'll look to try to increase that as Hodges advanced to third as a result of the situation. And now we'll see the payoff pitch incoming here to Kyle Ratliff from Perone. 3-2, swung on and missed for strike number 3. So Perone picks up strikeout number 5 as the Copperheads have been a very all-or-nothing sort of team as of lately. They gave up 10 strikeouts to Foley yesterday, but they also took big advantage of a lot of the relief pitchers that came in. This time, they were able to take advantage of Lasecki, the starting pitcher. Now it seems like Perone's been a little bit sharper with 5 strikeouts, but Trey Rucker, who had the injury earlier, looks like he's okay, and he'll come up to bat, and he skies it high up in the air into foul territory for strike number 1. Going into the stands, hopefully people keeping their eyes up there, and then you'll see the nice little run for the baseballs. And thanks to Goldsberry Wealth Strategies, the Copperheads fans who are able to grab a baseball are able to keep that. Again, very thankful to Goldsberry. It's very generous to offer that opportunity for fans to be able to keep their baseballs. No, not every stadium in the GLSCL does that, so it's definitely a nice privilege to have that here with the Copperheads. As the 0-1 to Trey Rucker is inside, so it's 1-1. Copperheads now up 6-1 as it is the bottom of the 6th inning. Copperheads put up 2 in the 3rd, 3 in the 4th, now 1 so far here in the 6th. As the 1-1 from Perone to Rucker is going to be hit into right field, but it does get caught by Nellis, the second baseman. Will it be in time? It will be in time for out number 3. As I thought the trajectory was going to go a little bit farther, but Nellis did a good job dropping back a little bit towards the edge of the infield and was able to throw it back out to Johnson for out number 3. So the Copperheads put up 1 as Carson Shepard reached off of a pass ball. And when we come back, it'll be Cade Nellis, Logan White, and Nick Lukac. But now it is time for the Orange Crush, as we'll try to get a little bit of a camera on that race. That's always exciting, so we'll pass it off over there and maybe try to zoom in a little bit. I'm working with the controls live here, so bear with me, but I want you guys to be able to see one of the most exciting portions of every baseball game with the Copperheads. So I hope you guys don't get a little motion sick there. There's the Orange Crush. There you go. So we see Ian Hankinson, our really exciting PA or MC, on-field MC, is going to get everybody hyped up, as we'll have the Orange Crush there, and we'll have the runners right here. So it should be a very exciting race.
Get set, go!
So here come the runners. They're going to go, and the Orange Crush is going to be trying to get back into the screen of play there, as got some speedy kids there trying to dip. We'll see if the Orange Crush will come into the picture. It looks like they have a great lead right now. The Orange Crush isn't even in the screen. Now the Orange Crush is gaining, and it's going to be a close race to the finish. The Orange Crush is gaining on the kids, and he's passed 2 of them. There's only 1 that might be able to make it, and it looks like they're going to be able to make it in. So we have 1 winner here of the Orange Crush. They're going to get a nice 2-liter bottle of Orange Crush soda, and that's what makes Copperheads games so great. You love being able to see that. As one of the best parts of any game at Bob Wren Stadium. A lot of the promotions that happen, the free offers and stuff like that. It's always exciting. So we'll take ourselves a little break here. Listen to Copperhead Baseball on YouTube. So it's Nolan. So Williams went 6. Pretty much no. Whenever the team has time off and everything like that.
I was in here for like the whole lesson. You just didn't know it.
Oh wow.
You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
I would say anytime you have an opportunity to show, assuming you want to do this for the rest of your life, you want to do play-by-play?
Yes, I would.
Okay. Find ways to showcase your knowledge of the team that you cover. So like, I heard you talk about like injuries, people helping stuff. Talk about what you know about what they're great at. I say this as I threw out the first pitch. I'm the person who used to do this for a living.
Gotcha. What's your name, by the way?
I'm Kaylee.
Kaylee, nice to meet you. I'm
Nice to
Cedric.
meet you. No, you're doing a phenomenal job, and I'm just taking away from that job right now. You do your thing. I won't be here at the end of the game, so I just wanted to give you that heads up. By the way, like anytime you can showcase your knowledge of the game and your knowledge of the team that you cover, make sure you lean into that. Even if it makes you feel like you sound like a narcissist, it makes you feel knowledgeable, it makes you sound knowledgeable, and it makes you sound like you are someone who has authority over that.
Yes, ma'am.
Like I know you have that knowledge, I hear it, but you're kind of holding it back. So actively say like they're great. They play great too. They play all field. They play this. They do this. They do that. Because it will make you sound like you know what you're talking about, and that will showcase you better when you go to show your stuff to somebody else in your life.
Awesome. Thank you so
you're
much
doing
for the
a phenomenal
advice.
job. You're doing a great job. So keep it up.
Thank you, Kaylee.
That's my
I appreciate
best
it.
advice to you: is showcase your knowledge of your team that you cover day in and day out, because it will make you. It'll show that you know baseball. If that's specifically what you want to do for the rest of your life, it'll showcase that. So you're doing an awesome job, though.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kaylee. Thank you for the advice. I appreciate it. As we'll see a pop fly. I apologize, the microphones were off the whole time, so apologize for that. I'm still working with everything here. Yeah, I want to apologize for my mics being off there, as it looked like the Settlers were able to score. As I'll go give you guys the breakdown of what happened and what I was calling there. So there's a new pitcher in Matthew Nolan, and Nolan now will be out of the game, though. He came in, pitched a third of an inning for the Southern Ohio Copperheads, and now we'll bring on the next pitcher, Sam Maudsley, coming from the bullpen, as the score is 6-5, as we've seen a pair of batters pick up multiple RBIs, as we saw Turner Hill pick up 2 RBIs, as well as Ben Kaplan pick up 2 RBIs on his single. So it is 6-5 here at Bob Wren Stadium, as this game, where it looked like the Copperheads were running away with it, has now turned sour, and now Sam Maudsley will have to come up big for the Southern Ohio Copperheads. So I'll go ahead and summarize that for you here, as the Copperheads and yielded a couple of runs this inning. It was Logan White and Nick Lucas scoring off of an RBI single from Turner Hill, and then it was Adam Crawford, or it was Austin Davison and Turner and Adam Crawford both scoring off of a single from Ben Kaplan. So we'll take a little break here, and I'll make sure to get the mics working, as that was a little bit of a blunder by me. Copperheads will look to play some damage control, as well as me, going into this top of the 7th inning. Copperheads up 6-5. You're listening to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube. So back here in the top of the 7th inning, Copperheads are up 6-5, just clinging on to a 1-run lead. And now Swanger has an opportunity with 2 runners on, and Ben Kaplan at second, and Austin Davison at third. Has a chance to be able to take the lead here for the first time for the Licking County Settlers, as the Copperheads, they've had tough losses all year to Licking County Settlers in many different ways: walk-off fashion, blowouts, pitchers duels, all types of games. And a comeback would not want to be added to that list. Sam Maudsley, the new pitcher, a.k.a. Big Alaska, will try to change that, as the 0-1 is inside for ball number 1. So the count is 1-1 here at Bob Wren Stadium. Sam Maudsley on the season has an ERA of 5.49, and his last outing was against the Grand Lake Mariners, where he pitched 4 innings, gave up 5 runs, all of them being earned, 7 hits, and picked up 3 strikeouts. As the 1-1 is going to be popped up backwards for strike number 2. So it's 1-2 here at Bob Wren Stadium, as the Licking County Settlers only have 1 out in the inning and 2 runners in scoring position, with Ben Kaplan at second, Austin Davison at third. So the crowd starting to get a little quiet here, as the Settlers have successfully quieted things down, as they've almost completed the comeback, as the 1-2 will go low and away. Sam Maudsley tells Silva that was on me there, and the count is 2-2 with 1 out. Cody Williams set the groundwork with 6 really solid innings pitched, only giving up 1 run, and it was not earned. Now the Copperheads have to depend on the relief guys to come through here in the clutch as the 2-2 fouled off once again over towards the Copperheads dugouts. The count is 2-2 as the Copperheads yielded 4 this inning, trying to avoid yielding 5, as it was Logan White, Nick Lukac, Adam Crawford, Turner Hill all coming home off of a pair of 2 RBI hits, one being a single. Ben Kaplan's was a double. The 2-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. Sam Maudsley comes up with a huge strikeout as Swanger really tried to reach out for that one and paid the price.
Now batting for the Settlers, number 9, Caleb Johnson.
So down goes Swanger. That's strikeout number 1. And there's 2 outs in the inning here as Caleb Johnson is up. He has a double on the day as well as a fly out and a strikeout. If he gets any sort of base hit here, that'll definitely score a runner. As right now, Austin Davison from his third base position, the catcher, looking to try to get home as Maudsley delivers the first pitch, swung on and missed for strike number 1. Maudsley's usually a starting pitcher, and we've seen a lot of starting pitchers get opportunities to come in relief and switch up their job a little bit, as Cody Williams most recently done that, the guy who started today. Now Maudsley, who will be leaving the Copperheads early to get back over to school, as the 0-1 swung on and missed for strike number 2. So the count is 0-2. Maudsley will be getting back soon, so getting his opportunity to pitch here in front of the home crowd for potentially the last time. Maudsley showed up on the first game of the season and has been great ever since he's shown up. As we'll see the 0-2 pitch to try to strand 2 runners here in the top of the 7th inning. Copperheads up 6-5. Can Maudsley keep that lead? The 0-2. And they got him looking. Oh, no, they say not. Silva was walking off. Everybody was walking off like it was strike number 3, and fans are still in shock as well as I am. So we'll have to do it again, as it is a 1-2 count to Caleb Johnson. We'll see if Maudsley can come through with a strike. Silva gives him his sign. Maudsley sets, delivers his pitch. It swung on and missed. Drop strike 3. They get the tag there, and Maudsley comes in a situation where things look dire and is able to keep the score and keep the lead for the Copperheads. So Copperheads up 6-5 going into the bottom of the 7th inning. Once again, we have to mention the top of the 7th inning was presented by Ohio Health. And we'll go into the bottom of the 7th. Copperheads up 6-5, and we'll look to increase their padding when we come back. Listen to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube. It's the bottom of the 7th inning here at Bob Wren Stadium. The bottom of the 7th is presented to you by Larry's Doghouse. So the Copperheads now are in a tough situation, only up by 1. And they'll depend on Josh Steidel, Mason Adoni, and Bam Thomas, who will be due up this inning. And once again, another hit by pitch. As Josh Steidel has taken a couple today, and he'll get first base for his efforts. But my goodness, you'll think we're playing dodgeball today. That's the 3rd hit by pitch, and it's been a couple of times where players have been almost hit in the head as well. It's just been one of those days for the Copperheads up in batting. They found a lot of success, but has also had to dodge some things as well, too, as Perrone's still on the mound. And Josh Steidel reaches first. And now Mason Adoni, who has a single on the day as well as a flyout and a strikeout. So now 1 for 3. We'll try to get the Copperheads some more pad here to work with for Sam Maudsley, who will more than likely be the closing pitcher of today. As Perrone delivers his first pitch that goes low for ball number 1. So it's 1-0. Copperheads did yield 4 runs, but were able to keep Davison and Kaplan at 2nd and 3rd. Once again, want to apologize for being muted at one point. That's my mistake there on the little board there. That's where sometimes you just got to make sure that you're doing your best here. And this is my first time running the stream fully without Tim. So we'll take some practice there to make sure that I'm always pressing the button. Testing, testing, testing. There we go. All right, yeah, sorry about that. We've been having mic issues now all night as I'm going to go do some checks there. So Josh Steidel reached on a hit by pitch. Mason Adoni is now up and facing a 2-1 count. The 2-1. And they got him for a strike. So the count is 2-2 now here at Bob Wren Stadium with 1 runner on, nobody out here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Copperheads were up as many as 6-1. Now the gap has closed and it is 6-5 as we got a ball game here on our hands. Perrone sets, delivers his pitch. It's outside. The ball is dropped there. Davison holds Steidel. Count is full now. Copperheads trying to at least increase their lead a little bit. Payoff pitch on its way. And it's a walk there. So Mason Adoni is able to get to first base. So 2 runners up, 2 runners on for the Southern Ohio Copperheads. And now that'll bring on number 14, Ashton Bam Thomas. Bam Thomas has a walk, hit into a fielder's choice, and a strikeout on the day. It looks like Perrone's day may be potentially coming to an end, and it will. We'll have a pitching change, and we'll stay with you guys here as we'll check some of the scores around the country. The Richmond Jazz, they beat the Michigan Monarchs. They sweep them in a doubleheader, won 6-5 the first game, won 6-1 the second game, as the Richmond Jazz are on fire, beating the league-leading Michigan Monarchs in that series 3-1. Very impressive. The Grand Lake Mariners are up on the Lima Locos trying to get revenge from last night where the Locos were victorious. Mariners are up 6-4 in the bottom of the 7th. In the top of the 8th inning, you got the Cincinnati Steam and Hamilton Joes for a very critical matchup there up in Hamilton. It's 6-3 in favor of the Cincinnati Steam. And then, of course, in our game, it's the bottom of the 7th inning. Copperheads are up 6-5 over the Licking County Settlers as we have a new pitcher coming into the game. We'll do a game summary here for you. Copperheads, they took the lead first 2-0 as Trey Rucker picked up a sacrifice fly scoring Clayton Hodges. Then Mason Adoni followed it up with an RBI single scoring Kyle Ratliff. Then the Licking County Settlers struck back in the top of the 4th inning with a Caleb Johnson run off of an error to make it 2-1. Then the Copperheads increased their lead to 6-1 when Carson Shepard and Clayton Hodges both scored in the inning, as well as Sebastian Silva off of RBIs from Trey Rucker, as well as Just some well-timed runs, including a wild pitch that Sebastian Silva scored off of. In the top of the sixth inning, or bottom of the sixth inning, the Copperheads increased their lead to 6 when Carson Shepard scored on a pass ball. And then it was all Settlers in the 7th inning so far, as Turner Hill, Logan White, Nick Lukac, and Adam Crawford all put up runs. So that's how we're at 6-5 as we have a new pitcher coming into the game. We'll take a little break here on the field as he warms up. You're listening to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube. So the new pitcher in on the day for the Licking County Settlers is Nick Oyster, guy who's played against the Copperheads before. In a prior matchup, he pitched 1 inning, did not allow a single run or a single hit. So he can be pretty tough there for the Copperheads. We'll see if Bam Thomas can figure him out. Give you a little zoom in here on the new pitcher in Oyster, rocking number 4 for the Licking County Settlers. And we'll see the first pitch to Bam Thomas, a high bunt that fouls off backwards and almost right to the press box, as it did almost get into the area where as Skylar Watts looks like she got that, the social media director. She ended up picking up that. She'll have herself a nice souvenir here from Bob Wren Stadium. But the count is 0-1 to Ashton Bam Thomas. Bam Thomas got that nickname, of course, when he was a kid. And he'll take the 0-1 upstairs for ball number 1. So it's 1-1. The runners stay at their positions. Steidle at second and Donnie at first. But when Bam Thomas was younger, he used to just bang on different things, and they nicknamed him Bam, like Bam Bam from the Flintstones, and it really stuck on. Perfect name for a baseball player. See the 1-1. Looks like they'll call a little bit of a timeout. The umpire, he's counting them up. It looks like they have too many fielders potentially. And looks like there's a situation there. That's a mistake. As Jake Dennis, the head coach of the Settlers, is going to have a little bit of a conversation there, as you have a lot of people crowding into the infield. And there's going to be some chirping here from Bob Wren Stadium crowd. And we'll see if there's any sort of call, or they're going to have to force them to get back aligned in a certain manner. As count is 1-1. Nobody out, 2 runners on. Both of the runners advance. It looks like it'll end up being a balk situation, so both of the runners get to advance. So Steidle is on third, Nadani on second. So Bam Thomas works with the 1-1. Oyster delivers the pitch, and it does curve into the zone for strike number 2. So it's 1-2. 2 runners on. Bam Thomas with a chance to potentially increase the Copperheads' lead. The 1-2, Bam Thomas chops it over to first base, where it's going to be a play made by Caleb Johnson. And he has some mistakes being able to field the ball. Nick Oyster slides in to keep the runners on. But it looks like that will be another error for the Licking County Settlers. Settlers have 3 errors, Copperheads with 2. And Bam Thomas is now safe at first base.
Now batting for the Copperheads, number 25, Maverick Stallings.
So here comes Maverick Stallings after Bam Thomas reaches on the error. And Maverick Stallings will have a chance to drive runners home. The bases are loaded with nobody out. This is a very similar situation to what happened to the Copperheads in game number 2 of the doubleheader on July 11th, where the Copperheads had 3 runners on, nobody out, and weren't able to execute. This is their big opportunity here to extend the lead back up to where it was before. They were up as many as 5 Now they're only up by 1. But with the bases loaded, they have their opportunity. Maverick Stallings with the lights shining bright. The 1-0 pitch from Oyster. Skips across the ground. It's a pass ball. And looks like Steidel decides to stay, as he would have probably had a chance at home plate, but it would have been a close play. Steidel decides to play it safe, and the count is 2-0. Listening to Coach Lanning, his third base coach. Oyster now in a little bit of a bind here. With bases loaded, you can't walk anybody or it's a guaranteed run there. And Stallings will crowd the plate a little bit in an open stance. And with 3 runners on, everybody with significant leadoffs, Maverick Stallings take the 2-0 pitch. And that time it goes over the plate on the outside of the zone. So it's 2-1 to Maverick Stallings. Stallings saw the ball very well yesterday, and his big 2 RBI single that he had yesterday. We had him up here for an interview. We'll see the 2-1. The time it is low, so now it's 3-1. A pretty solid hitter's count here for Stallings. Here comes the 3-1. Pop flied out into foul territory. So now the count is full. 3-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 3 runners on. We're having a payoff pitch of payoff pitches here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Copperheads up 6-5 over the Licking County Settlers, looking for win number 1 against the Settlers and to pull off an upset over the first place team once again. 3-2, Oyster sets. It's outside. It's low. He walked the bases, and that's a run for Josh Steidel. He jogs his way in, and he'll officially touch that plate for run number 7 for the Southern Ohio Copperheads.
Now batting for the Copperheads, number 29, Sebastian Silva.
So in comes Sebastian Silva, who on his day has a pair of strikeouts as well as a single out to left field, right in between the left fielder Swanger and the shortstop Nick Lukac. So 3 runners on. The first pitch is swung on and missed by Silva. Nobody down in this inning. Copperheads already showing some improvement from that prior series against the Licking County Settlers, where they had a situation, like I said, with the bases loaded in the 2nd inning of the 2nd game of that doubleheader on July 11th. And they weren't able to score 1. They've already scored 1, and they'll try to score more, as it looked like Sebastian Silva would have taken a hit by pitch. It just missed him. So the count is evened up at 1-1 to Silva. Donnie at third, Bam Thomas at second, Stallings on first. As the 1-1, Oyster delivers it up too high for ball 2. So it's 2 balls, 1 strike, nobody out. I want to say thank you to all you guys tuning in and listening. Don't have Tim Hanna today, but we'll have Ethan Sargent coming up here tomorrow to join me for the Sandusky Ice Haulers call, as the 2-1 is upstairs for ball number 3. So it's 3-1. 3 runners on. Once again, another solid hitter's count. We'll see if Silva will dial up the swing. The 3-1 pitch. Looks like a check swing there, and it missed the zone. He did not go. That's another walk as Oyster walks 2 in a row, giving up 2 runs. It's 8-5 here at Bob Rent Stadium. Mason Nadolny comes home. It looks like Dennis will have a conversation with his pitcher, as we've seen at the start of each of these innings. We've seen some pitching changes for both of these squads, and both of the guys don't even make it a third of an inning, as Oyster is now done for the day, and it looks like we'll have a new pitcher coming in. Looks like there is some bullpen activity, but right now the Copperheads are in great situation right now with 3 runners on, nobody out, as we'll see another pitching change here at Bob Wren Stadium. Copperheads up 8-5. You listen to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube. Welcome back to the bottom of the 7th inning with the Copperheads up 8-5 as you're getting a look here at the new pitcher for the Licking County Settlers. It's Logan Swanger. We've seen him a lot today as a batter, but now he's showing that he is a good two-way player, being able to pitch as well, and he has an ERA of 0. He's not giving up an inch to anybody this season. 16 strikeouts, 9 walks on the season. Again, once again, that impressive ERA really stands out. And he did close a game against the Copperheads, and it was one where the Copperheads were rolling, had a chance to potentially win the game in comeback fashion like what the Settlers are trying to do today. Back in Game 2 where the Copperheads lost 11-9, and they had the tying run on base to potentially send that one into extra innings. But Swanger came in and was able to finish the job, try to finish the job here for his squad. They're down 8-5, so we'll have to keep the Copperheads at 8 and hope the Settlers can put up 3 or 4 runs coming up in the next innings. As for the Copperheads, they're in great situation as the bases are loaded. Already Steidel and Nadolny have come across the plate as they were walked over. Steidel originally reaching on a hit by pitch. Nadolny was walked. Bam Thomas reached on an error. Maverick Stallings was walked. And then Sebastian Silva was as well. So Silva's on first. Maverick Stallings is at second. And Bam Thomas is at third. So here comes Carson Shepard, called on by Trevor Stevens, who's doing a little bit of everything. He's your director of player ops. He's your music guy, soundboard operator, and also your PA guy at this point, too. So we'll get it back to the wide cam here. As Swanger readies for his first pitch to Carson Shepard, who is having a pretty solid day. He's got 2 runs. He's got a single. Reached on a hit by pitch, or got to first base on a hit by pitch as well. Swanger sets, delivers his pitch. It's outside. It's ball number 1. So it's 1-0 to Carson Shepard. Or in terms of averages, the Copperheads have blown their average amount of runs against the Licking County Settlers over the moon right there, as they've only given or only had 3.33 runs against the Settlers this season, and they have 8 of them, which is almost their season high. They put up 9 in that Game 2 where they had the almost comeback. So we are about 2 hours and 30 minutes down as this game has been nothing short of entertaining. 1-1 on its way to Shepard. It's outside. That's ball number 2. So it's 2-1. Bases loaded. Copperheads with 12 hits on the day, and there's still plenty of time left to go. 7 hits for the Licking County Settlers, most of them coming in the 7th. As Swanger sets up on the mound and delivers the 2-1 pitch. And it's going to be a high pop fly out into center field. Adam Crawford running for it. He doesn't make the catch. Bam Thomas running over the plate. He'll jog on in. And Maverick Stallings is told to stop at second or stop at third, but Bam Thomas coming in off of the hit there from Carson Shepard. So he picks up his first RBI of the day. Could be arguably an error, or they could call it a single. We're going to go with a single here, according to the statistician that is me up here in the broadcast booth. So it's 9-5 here at Bob Wren Stadium. The Copperheads, talk about answering. They gave up 4 runs in the top of the 7th, and what did they do in the bottom of the 7th? They come back with 3 runs of their own, and they're going to try to make it 4 as the bases are loaded yet again, as it will go down as an RBI single, and Clayton Hodges is now up here for the Copperheads with nobody down. Swanger delivers his pitch. It's outside and low for ball number 1 as the Copperheads are really picking up some steam here. They might have a shot to bat around the order for 2 consecutive games. As Hodges on the day reached on an error, has a single as well as a walk as the 1-0 is low and inside. So opposite of outside and low, it was low and inside this time, and it's 2-0 to number 11, Clayton Hodges. Copperheads up 9-5 here in the bottom of the 7th inning. And we'll see the 2-0 pitch on its way from Swanger. This time it's low, almost going at the feet of Hodges. Hodges does a little shuffle back. And now the count is 3-0. Swanger can't afford to walk anybody, or once again, it'll be a run for the Copperheads. Clayton Hodges has 2 runs and then was retired at third as well. So he's been very active along the base paths. And we'll see the 3-0 pitch. In for a strike, just nicking the zone, as that one was one of those 50-50 ones. The umpire calls it strike. So it's 3-1. Nobody out right now. Bases loaded right now for the Copperheads. It's Bam Thomas, who ended up reaching on the last time, and Maverick Stallings at third, Sebastian Silva at second, and Shepard at first. As we're going to see a hit out into the outfield. Clayton Hodges delivers, and here comes Stallings across the plate. Now here comes Shepard across the plate, and he's in. Actually, correction, Silva all coming in off of the plate. Copperheads put up 2 runs there, as once again, Clayton Hodges coming through. He's been on absolute fire these last couple of games. 3 RBIs yesterday, 2 RBIs today. So the Copperheads tell the Settlers, anything you can do, I can do better. You put up 4 runs in the bottom of, or the top of the 7th. We put up 5 in the bottom of the 7th, and they're not over yet, as they have 2 runners on, nobody out. Shepard at second, and Hodges at first. And now Kyle Ratliff is up. Swanger delivers the first pitch inside. It's a pass ball. That'll yield a couple of bases. And Shepard thought about going home, but does just stay at third. Now 2 runners in scoring position. Double play situation, or at least the force-out double play situation, is now out of the agenda here for the Settlers, where the wheels have fallen off this inning. Copperheads, if they can get 4 more runs, they can end the game right here, right now in this inning. Just 4 runs away. Kyle Ratliff has 2 hits, both singles, 2 strikeouts, and 1 run. The 1-0 is a high pop fly backwards towards the Hocken River, so it's 1-1. So all the runners that have scored, Steidel and Nadoni were walked in. Bam Thomas was able to come in as well off of a hit from Silva and landed, or from Carson Shepard that landed, rather. And then Silva and Stallings came in off of a 2-run RBI from Clay Hodges. Kyle Ratliff chops over the 1-1 back towards Rucker in the on-deck circle. Now the count is 1-2 to Ratliff. Copperheads up 11-5 now. I'll make the adjustment on the score after we see this 1-2 pitch. The 1-2, Kyle Ratliff tries to go low to swing at that one. He's out. So strike number 3, but only out number 1 for the Copperheads, as they have a runner on third, a runner on second, and here comes Trey Rucker. Rucker's driven in an RBI already today. Has a sac fly as well as a single as well. So 2 runners on, Copperheads up 11-5. First pitch is inside for a ball. The 1-0, it's going to be a high pop fly out into right field. Caden Ellis goes back to make the catch, holds the runners on, so that's 2 down in the inning. And the Copperheads have batted around the order, so we're going back to the man who started it off in this inning, Josh Steidel, who was hit by pitch, the first pitch that was thrown at him. First pitch to Steidel is outside and hitting the edge of the zone for strike number 1. So it's 0-1. Swanger on the mound, pitching in his first inning here. Came in for Oyster, who struggled. And we'll see the 0-1 to Steidel. That goes low. So it's 1-1. Copperheads up 11-5 with 14 hits. one of their highs on the season, matching their total they had against the Grand Lake Mariners for hits. The 1-1. Oh, way up high, right towards the face of Steidl. He gets out of there as the count is 2-1 as Steidl had to dodge a few pitches, and he's been hit twice. Doesn't want it to be 3 times. The count is 2-1 with 2 down in the inning, 2 runners on. Shepard at third, Hodges at second. Steidl trying to drive him home as the 2-1 taken over the plate for strike number 2. So the count is evened up. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. 2 runners on in an 11-5 game in favor of the Southern Ohio Copperheads, who've increased their lead over the 7th inning by 1 run, going from 6-1 to 11-5. There's been no shortage of action, as we'll see the 2-2 incoming from Swanger, and it's fouled off hard towards Pruitt Field, of the home of the Ohio Field Hockey Squad, and the count remains 2-2. Swanger takes a rest. The 2-2 pitch. Bowed off once again towards Pruitt Field, as there'll be a couple of souvenirs on that field for when the field hockey team comes to practice. And the count remains 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Copperheads working on, yet again, another inning where they put up 5. They did that in the 5th inning yesterday, and now they do it in the 7th inning today, as there's been some offensive explosions here for the Copperheads as the bats have been ignited here at Bob Wren Stadium. And Josh Steidl will look to keep it going here at home, as we'll see the 2-2 pitch coming from Swanger. And it's a pitch that goes outside, and it's a slider that ends up getting Steidl looking. So the Copperheads go down, but not before they could put up 5 runs. Steidl, Nadani, Bam Thomas, Maverick Stallings, and Sebastian Silva all score in the inning. Carson Shepard, Clayton Hodges picking up RBIs as well in this inning. So very productive for the Copperheads, as they'll try to keep their 11-5 lead going into the 8th inning. Listen to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube. We've made it to the 8th inning here at Bob Wren Stadium. The top of the 8th is presented to you by Jackie O's. Copperheads up 11-1 as Sam Maudsley still on the mound and delivers the first pitch for a strike, dialing it up to Caden Ellis, who has a walk, a fly out, and a strikeout on his totals for the day. As score is 11-5. Scoreboard is a little bit distorted here. Apologize for that. We're trying to work with a new scoreboard on the fly, so try to at least put up something there. We'll keep adjusting it over the coming days. Nellis takes a little break there as he takes ball number 1. So the count is 1-1. Maudsley in his second inning, who did a great job retiring 2 when they were left on. I see a deep fly ball out in the left field. That's down for a base hit. Bam Thomas running after it. And Nellis is going to try to leg it out for 2. He's going to stop. He gets the signal from his coach. And that's a standing double for Nellis. So here comes Logan White, who has a strikeout swinging, a fly out, and then also a single on the day as well. He's one of the guys getting it started out in the 7th inning when the Settlers really started to get going with their bats. But the Copperheads were even better in the bottom of the 7th inning, putting up 5 after yielding 4. Maudsley delivers the first pitch, hitting that zone perfectly for a strike. So it's 0-1 with 1 runner on, nobody out. Here at Bob Wren Stadium, Copperheads only with 2 home games left, so trying to enjoy these games while they last. Can the Copperheads finish off the Settlers? They have had struggles beating them all year long, losing the first 6. They've been closer and closer every single time, and Coach talked about how big of a mental game this is, and it's really a mental thing when you lose to an opponent multiple times like that, and it seems like you can't beat them. It's almost like an older brother, younger brother situation, but even the tables can turn. You look at the Michigan State-Michigan rivalry, where it looked like Michigan dominated for a while, and then Michigan State has really come on of late after just being able to shake off the mental battle as Maudsley delivers another strike. So the count is 1-2. Logan White trying to advance Caden Ellis, who's on second right now, into scoring position at third base. Or even drive him home as Maudsley, thinking the exact opposite, will try to strike him out as the 1-2 is delivered, and it's going to be popped up foul into the grass berm right next to Bob Wren Stadium. And the count remains 1-2 as we are officially at nighttime here at Bob Wren Stadium, 9:48, top of the 8th inning. Quite a battle here between the Copperheads and the Settlers, where we've seen a lot of action. 11 runs for the Copperheads, 5 runs for the Settlers. That's back-to-back nights with the Copperheads putting up double-digit runs for the first time this season. As we see the 1-2 popped up into the infield. Silva going forward. It stays in. He makes the catch. That's out number 1 here in the 8th inning. So White goes down on the fly to Silva. And now Nick Lukac will come up as he has a fly out, a ground out, and reached on an error. Also has a run for his squad today. And Licking County Settlers in their blue jerseys will look to try to get home Nellis to try to eat into this lead. Copperheads, if they put up 4 runs in the bottom of the 8th, if they keep this run or game at 11-5, they could close it out right then and there as we see the first pitch over the plate for strike number 1. Sam Maudsley has been absolutely exceptional ever since he's shown up. Had a start earlier this season against the Settlers and did not go as well as he would have wanted. And now he has a chance at redemption here. With 15 hits for the Copperheads, only 7 hits for the Settlers. Maudsley dials up the pitch, and that time it misses low and outside just barely. So the count is evened up. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Copperheads with a pair of ones for their score, 11. And they're up 11-5 over the Licking County Settlers. In the top of the 8th inning, Big Alaska sets up on the mound and delivers the 1-1 pitch. It's going to be hit right down Broadway out to Carson Shepard at second base, who scoops it up, delivers it out to Josh Steidel, keeps his foot on the mound for out number 2. So 2 down in the inning. Nellis advances to third as a result, and Lukac goes down on the ground out. So Adam Crawford will now be up. He had a run back in the 7th inning and Also had a ground out and a fly out. One of the bats that got hot on that big surge to get back in the game by the Settlers. Half inning, we'd all want to forget, especially me in the broadcast booth, as well as the Copperheads giving up 4 runs, as well as me keeping my mics off. So that's one's just a mulligan. Hopefully the Copperheads can keep it all clean, as well as a broadcast can at least stay on here. As I'm really appreciative to all you guys listening. We have over 100 people that have watched this, which is great, as we'll see the 1-0 that misses low for ball number 2. So it's 2-0 to Crawford. Crawford from McDonald, Pennsylvania. As with 2 down in the inning, the 2-0 pitch from Sam Maudsley. It's going to be hit into the outfield. That's a base hit, and that's going to count for a run for the Licking County Settlers. Caden Ellis comes around for yet again another run. So it is 11-6 as the Settlers draw closer. So Adam Crawford gets to first, picks up the RBI for his squad. This game's not over yet, as we'll see Coach Lanning talk with Maudsley, and looks like Sam's day will be done. So we'll have another pitcher coming in for the Coppers, as it's been a group effort. Takes a village here to be able to pull off a win against the Licking County Settlers. And the Copperheads will bring in a new pitcher when we come back. You're listening to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube. We're in the top of the 8th inning here at Bob Wren Stadium. Copperheads up 11-6 of the Licking County Settlers, looking for their first win against the Settlers this season. Copperheads lost the first 6, and to try to close it out, potentially be one of the guys to close it out. Josh Robinson out of Midway University takes the stage. Struck out 7 this season, making his 10th appearance of the year. His last outing was against the Licking County Settlers, where he pitched 2 innings, only yielded 1 hit and no runs, as it was a good day for Robinson, and a look to keep up that momentum going into this game here against the Licking County Settlers, where the Copperheads have done a good job increasing the pad of their lead, as they had the pressure on them in the bottom of the 7th inning, and they responded better than they have all season long by putting up 5 runs when it looked like the game was in the balance. So now the Copperheads are up by 5, as the score is 11-6 here in the top of the 8th inning. And now the new pitcher, Josh Robinson, will have a tough task going against the top of the order in Turner Hill, who's been exceptional on the day, has 2 RBIs and has reached base every time he's been up. And with 1 runner on in Crawford, the first pitch from Robinson hits the edge of the strike zone inside for strike number 1. So it's 0-1 with 2 outs. Robinson with a chance to be able to get 1 quick out and retire the side. Pickoff attempt there, not in time. Count remains 0-1. Josh Robinson earlier this season got to pitching Xenia, which is very close to his hometown. And he was very, very happy to have all of his friends and everything in town as the 0-1 is outside. And it's always special whenever you get to have your parents there. And again, I know a lot of people's parents on the team can't make it there in person all the time because of us playing in Ohio when a lot of people are a couple of states away. But we're glad that you guys can be able to watch your kids via the streams and then make it out here to Bob Wren Stadium every now and again when you can. As the 1-1 from Turner Hill is a perfectly placed bunt. Nadolny tries to get a throw out. Does a wise decision of not throwing to first, or could have yielded third base potentially. So the bunt works for Turner Hill. He's been on base every single time as he has 4 hits. So he's 4 for 4 with a walk as he's been on the money today for the Licking County Settlers. Turner Hill has been dinking and dunking the Copperheads all day long. He bats .362, and that batting average is just going to increasingly go up. Coppers just need one more out, though, to retire the side. Crawford on second now, and Turner Hill on first after the bunt single. And that'll bring on Austin Davison, who was 0 for 3 until the 7th inning, and then he was able to pick up the single and then was retired at third base. So Copperheads, 15 hits. Settlers now with 9 as they're down 11-6. And now we see the first pitch thrown in for a strike. So it's 0-1 to Austin Davison. The 0-1 swung on and missed for strike number 2. So it's 0-2. Josh Robinson with his chance to close the door. Could potentially deliver a pitch a little bit outside to try to see if Austin Davison will chase after it. If not, too, you could try to go deliver your best heat. See if you can get him swinging. The 0-2, Robinson delivers. It's inside and high for ball number 1. No swing from Davison with 2 runners on, 2 outs. Top of the 8th inning. Copperheads up 11-6 and looking to try to finish off the Licking County Settlers. The 1-2. Over the plate, he's got him looking. Big strikeout there for Josh Robinson coming in here in the top of the 8th inning and does his job picking up the out as him and Maudsley team up to only yield 1 as the Copperheads are up 11-6. And if the Copperheads can put up 5 runs in the bottom of the 8th, this game will be over. If not, they can continue to increase their lead in the bottom of the 8th. You're listening to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube. It's the bottom of the 8th inning here at Bob Wren Stadium. The bottom of the 8th is presented to you by Steak and Shake. Copperheads nursing an 11-6 lead, and they're going to look to try to increase that here at home as there'll be a new pitcher, the 5th pitcher of the day. It's Bryson Bell, number 19. He has only played in one game this season against the Hamilton Joes, as he's a later addition. Played his first game June 11th, and now making his return after all that time. So potentially some errors or something like that. Or injuries, rather, not errors. Copperheads hope to see some more errors from the Settlers. It's got a little tongue twister there as Nadolny takes the first pitch up high for ball number 1 from Bryson Bell. Copperheads put up a 5-spot in the last inning, a very impressive showing as the 1-0 is down low for ball number 2. So it's 2-0 to Nadolny, who on the day has a run, a single, and a walk, as well as a fly out and a strikeout, as the 2-0 is going to be a pop fly out into foul territory. So the count is 2-1. Settlers pretty much have a playoff spot locked up. However, the Cincinnati Steam could take over home field for them. The Steam won today 6-3, so Settlers will have to watch out as there's a hit right over the mound, but it goes out to Nellis at second base. Nadolny tries to leg it out, but it's not in time as he is out at first base.
Now batting for the Copperheads, number 14, Ashton Bam Thomas.
So Nadolny grounds out, and that'll bring on Ashton Bam Thomas, who reached on an error and has a run on the day. So with one down in the inning, nobody on. Copperheads once again trying to increase their lead over the Licking County Settlers as the first pitch from Bell hitting the edge of the strike zone outside for strike number 1. So 0-1 to Bam Thomas. Swung on and missed the 0-1, so now the count is 0-2 to Bam Thomas here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Copperheads up 11-6 over the Licking County Settlers, looking for win number 1 over the Settlers. The 0-2 is fouled off, so we remain at 0-2. So we have some different things happening in the GLSCL in the standings. The Cincinnati Steam are now 18-14, a whole game now ahead of the 18-16 Hamilton Joes, who've been ice cold as of late. As the 0-2, it's going to be a high pop fly that's going deep, and then Adam Crawford's going to slide to his right and make the catch for out number 2. So Bam Thomas flies out, and that'll bring on Maverick Stallings. Maverick Stallings has a single and a walk, as well as a pair of strikeouts for the Southern Ohio Copperheads. Going back to the standings now, the Copperheads will have to work a little bit now to get back to the middle of the standings, as the Mariners, Jazz, and Scouts all won today. In the case of the Jazz, they won twice. She checked that the Scouts did not play today. So the Richmond Jazz won twice. The Mariners won once. Those are the 5th and 6th place teams. So the Copperheads will have to win to try to eventually come back on those guys, as the 1-0 pitch will be on its way from Bell, skip across the ground and into the glove of Davison. It's 2-0. With 2 outs, nobody on. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning, and what's been quite an eccentric affair, as we've had lots of scoring, no lead changes, but there were times where the Copperheads were sweating, and no doubt they will have to in the 9th inning, as it'll be tough to close out the Settlers. But the Copperheads, they do have it in them. The count is 2-1 to Maverick Stallings as Bell sets, delivers the pitch over the plate. So it's 2-2, 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and nobody on. Bryson Bell right now doing very well at the mound. Bryson Bell delivers the 2-2 pitch. It's outside and low. Count is 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Copperheads holding on to an 11-6 lead. Still 1 inning left to go. They try to close it in the top of the 9th. The 3-2 to Stallings, and they rung him up. Only fitting that a pitcher named Bryson Bell is able to ring somebody up, as that strikeout number 1 for Bell. Copperheads go down 1-2-3, but it is time to pump it up at Bob Wren Stadium, as the Copperheads are up 11-6, and they'll try to close out the Licking County Settlers and get win number 1 against the team that's had their number all season long. Right into the 9th inning. You listen to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube. We're back in the top of the ninth inning. Top of the ninth is presented to you by OUCU Financial, where you belong. The Copperheads are up 11-6, and they'll look to close the door right here in this inning as Robinson delivers the first pitch outside to the new pinch batter here, or pinch hitter, in Drew Garf. He's a familiar name for the Southern Ohio Copperheads as he's played in multiple games in this Copperhead Settler series. As the 1-0 is going to be chopped foul for strike number 1. So the count is 1 ball, 1 strike to Drew Garf. Nobody on. Copperheads need 3 more outs, and they're going to depend on the arm of Josh Robinson. The 1-1 to Garf is going to be a high pop fly. That's going in the infield. And Mason Nadolny steps, tracks it, makes the catch. 1 down in the inning, 2 more to go for the Copperheads. So we'll have a new batter as well coming in, as it looks like we're bringing in a lot of people. As Drew Furshaw is going to be coming in now for the Licking County Settlers, as we've seen a couple of new guys get their chance to bat in this game. First we saw Garf, now we see Furshaw, who's batting 100 on the year, driven in 5 RBIs from the man out of Bryant and Stratton College. And local kid from Newark, as Josh Robinson delivers the first pitch, swung on and missed for strike number 1. So it's 0-1. Pass ball, so now the count is evened up. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. She might go down as a wild pitch. With nobody on, no worry, no harm, no foul. Looks like we'll have a little bit of a meeting there. As Copperheads are up 11-6. They took a 2-0 lead, and then it was a 2-1 lead. Then they were up 5-1 at the end of the 4th, then increased their lead to 6-1 in the 6th before the Settlers started to make the Copperheads sweat a little bit when it was 6-5, and then the Copperheads gave themselves some more breathing room, and up 11-5, and then they ended up yielding 1 run in the top of the 8th, and that's how we're at 11-6. So 2 more outs needed for the Copperheads to be able to close out this game. It's Furshaw with his first at-bat of the day going against Josh Robinson, who throws the 1-1 pitch. Swung on and missed for strike number 2. Needs 1 more of those, and that'll be out number 2. Can Robinson close the door? We'll find out here at Bob Wren Stadium. Robinson breathes in with nobody on and then takes a step off the mound. Has a little bit of a break. The 1-2 is going to be down for a base hit, getting past Nadolny in third base. Furshaw legging it out around first. He's going for second, and there's going to be a throw that's going to be late to second base, and Furshaw comes through for his squad. That's the 3rd double of the day for the Licking County Settlers. So here comes Caleb Johnson after some pretty good success there from Furshaw. We will now see Johnson with his chance to work and try to get this 1-out rally going for the Settlers. First pitch, Johnson's chopping it foul, and it looks like it goes out of play. So it is a foul ball, strike number 1, 0-1 to Johnson. Seeing a couple of different substitutions today, especially in this 9th inning. We also had a defensive substitution as Ian Crump substitutes for Ashton Bam Thomas out in left field. So now we're seeing teams mix it up a little bit as we'll see the 0-1 on its way from Robinson. Goes low for ball number 1. Is seen a good amount of switches here. We're going to see that a lot as the season continues to progress. It's kind of the nature of the GLSCL. As the summer starts to die down, you get a lot of guys going back to their different schools, or they get injured and just want to make sure they're healthy for the season, or whatnot, as a 1-1 is missed. So you're going to get chances and get opportunities no matter where you are in the roster or on the depth chart, as long as you stick around throughout the rest of the summer. As only about 18 to 20 players are expected to be there for the Copperheads throughout the last couple of games. As the 1-2 is going to be a high fly ball out into right field. Trey Rucker going back towards the track, makes the catch, and there's the tag. Forshaw running the third, and he'll be safe. But that's 2 down in the inning. Copperheads just need 1 more out to finish off the Settlers for the first time this year. And here comes Caden Ellis. Caden Ellis got it all started in the 8th inning, was able to score a run. Very bold along the base pass. And Robinson's going to try to get the first or the last out of the game. Crowd backs up the Copperheads as Bobber and Faithful shows their support to Robinson as the first pitch is fouled off for strike number 1. 2 more strikes to go. You can hear the claps in the crowd. Josh Robinson sets up. The 0-1. Over the plate for strike number 2. Settlers down to their last strike here at Bobber Stadium. The 0-2. And it misses outside just barely. The count is 1-2. Big moment coming up, and Josh Robinson does a little bit of a timeout there. Kind of psych out the runner a little bit as claps are all in here at Bobber Stadium. The Copperheads have their chance to close off the Settlers for the first time this year. The 1-2 pitch swung on and missed for strike number 3. Drop strike 3, and this game is over. The Copperheads, for the first time this season, have defeated the Licking County Settlers. Big upset in the GLSCL South as the Licking County Settlers, they were in first place, but the Copperheads say, oh, that doesn't matter to us. We're going to be the snake in the grass to upset the Licking County Settlers. So the Settlers fall on the road. Copperheads now improve their record to 13-19. Their opportunity to go and fight for a 500 record is still alive. And for the Settlers, they're fortunate that the Hamilton Joes lost for their playoff hopes, but for their home field advantage hopes, the Cincinnati Steam are now knocking at the door of taking their first place spot. So we'll take a little bit of a break. We'll have some post-game action coming for you. Copperheads once again victorious, 11-6.